If you shall chance, Camillo, to visit Bohemia on the like occasion whereon my services are now on foot, you shall see, as I have said, great differences betwixt our Bohemia and your Sicilia. I think this coming summer, the King of Sicilia means to pay Bohemia the visitation which he justly owes him. Wherein our entertainment shall shame us, we will be justified in our loves, for indeed, beseech you. Verily, I speak it in the freedom of my knowledge, we cannot with such magnificence in so rare, I don't know what to say. We will give you sleepy drinks, that your senses, on intelligence of our insufficience, may, though they cannot praise us, as little accuse us. You pay a great deal too dear for what's freely given.
Believe me, I speak as my understanding instructs me, and as mine honesty puts it to utterance. Cecilia cannot show himself overkind to Bohemia. They were trained together in their childhoods, and there rooted betwixt them then such an affection, which cannot choose but branch now. Since their more mature dignities and royal necessities made separation of their society, their encounters, though not personal, have been royally attorneyed, with interchange of gifts, letters, loving embassies, that they have seemed to be together, though absent, shook hands as over a vast, and embraced, as it were, from the ends of opposed winds. The heavens continue their loves.
I think there is not in the world either malice or matter to alter it. You have an unspeakable comfort in your young prince Mamilius. It is a gentleman of the greatest promise that ever came into my note.
I very well agree with you in the hopes of him. It is a gallant child, one that indeed, physics the subject, makes old hearts fresh. They that went on crutches ere he was born desire yet their life to see him a man.
Would they else be content to die?
Yes, if there were no other excuse why they should desire to live.
If the king had no son, they would desire to live on crutches until he had one.
"9 changes of the watery star hath been the shepherd's note since we have left our throne without a burthen. Time as long again would be fined up, my brother, with our thanks, and yet we should, for perpetuity, go hence in debt. And therefore, like a cipher, yet standing in rich place, I multiply with one we thank you, many thousands more that go before it. Stay your thanks a while, and pay them when you part. Sir, that's tomorrow. I'm questioned by my fears of what may chance or breed upon our absence, that may blow no sneaping winds at home, to make us say, this is put forth too truly. Besides, I have stayed to tie your royalty. We are tougher, brother, than you can put us to it. No longer stay. 1 7-night longer, eh?
Very sooth tomorrow. We'll part the time between now and then, and in that I'll no gainsaying. I beseech you, press me not. There is no tongue that moves, none in the world, so soon as yours would win me. So would it now were there necessity in your request, though 'twere needful I denied it. My affairs do ever drag me homeward, which to hinder would be in your love a whip to me, and my stay to you a charge and trouble to save both. Farewell, our brother. Tongue-tied, our queen? Speak you. I had thought, sir, to have held my peace until you had charged oath from him not to stay. You, sir, you charge him too coldly. Tell him that you are sure that all in Bohemia is well. This satisfaction the bygone day proclaimed. Say this to him. He's beat at his best ward.
Well said, Hermione.
To tell he longs to see his son were strong, but let him say so then and let him go. but let him swear so, and he shall not stay. I'll thwack him hence with distaffs. Yet of your royal presence, I'll adventure the borrow of a week. When at Bohemia you take my lord, I'll give him my commission to let him there a month behind the jest prefixed for his parting. Yet, good deed, Leontes, I love thee not ajar the clock behind what lady she her lord. You'll stay? Nay, but you will.
I'm not ready.
Verily. Oh, you put me off with limber vows, but I, though you would seek to unsphere the stars with oaths, should yet say, Sir, no going.
Verily you shall not go. A lady's verily is as potent as a lord's. Will you go yet? Force me to keep you as a prisoner, not like a guest. So you shall pay your fees when you depart and save your thanks. How say you, my prisoner or my guest? By your dread, verily, one of them you shall be. Your guest, then, madam. To be your prisoner should import offending, which is for me less easy to commit than you to punish. Not your jailer, then, but your kind hostess. Come, I'll question you of my lord's tricks and yours when you were boys. You were pretty lordings, then? We were, fair queen, 2 lads that thought there was no more behind but such a day tomorrow as today, and to be boy eternal.
Was not my lord the verier wag o' the 2? We were as twin lambs that did frisk in the sun, and bleat the one at the other. What we changed was innocence for innocence. We knew not the doctrine of ill-doing, nor dreamed that any did. Had we pursued that life, and our weak spirits ne'er been higher reared with stronger blood, we should have answered heaven boldly, not guilty, the imposition cleared, hereditary ours. By this we gather, you have tripped since. Oh, my most sacred lady! Temptations have since then been born to's, for in those unfledged days was my wife a girl. Your precious self had then not crossed the eyes of my young playfellow. Grace to boot! Of this make no conclusion, lest you say your queen and I are devils.
But to the goal. My last good deed was to entreat his stay. What was my first? It has an elder sister, or I mistake you. Oh, would her name were Grace! But once before I spoke to the purpose, when? Nay, let me have it, I long. Why, that was when 3 crabbed months had soured themselves to death, ere I could make thee open thy white hand, and clap thyself my love. Then didst thou utter, I am yours for ever. 'Tis grace indeed. Why, lo you now, I have spoke to the purpose twice. The one forever earned a royal husband, the other for some while a friend. Too hot to mingle friendship far as mingling bloods. I have tremor cordis on me. My heart dances, but not for joy, not joy.
This entertainment may a free face put on, derive a liberty from hardiness, from bounty, fertile bosom, and well become the agent it may, I grant, but to be paddling palms and pinching fingers as now they are, and making practised smiles as in a looking-glass, and then to sigh as 'twere the more to the dear, oh, that is entertainment my bosom likes not, nor my brows. Mamillius, art thou my boy? Ay, my good lord. effects! Why, that's my bowcock. What has smutched thy nose? They say it is a copy out of mine. Come, Captain, we must be neat. Not neat, but cleanly, Captain. And yet the steer, the heifer, and the calf are all called neat. Still virginaling upon his palm. How now, you wanton calf? Art thou my calf? Yes, if you will, my lord.
Thou want'st a rough pash, and the shoots that I have to be full like me. Yet they say we are almost as like as eggs. Women say so. That will say anything, but were they false as ore-dyed blacks, as wind, as waters, false as dice are to be wished by one that fixes. No born twixt his and mine, yet were it true to say this boy were like me. Come, Sir Page, look on me with your welkin eye. Sweet villain, most dearest, my collop, can thy dam me it be? Affection, thy intention stabs the centre. Thou dost make possible things not so held, communicatest with dreams. How can this be? With what's unreal thou coactive art, and fellowst nothing, then 'tis very credent thou mayst cojoin with something, and thou dost, and that beyond commission, and I find it, and that to the infection of my brains, and hardening of my brows.
What means Cecilia?
Something seems unsettled.
How, my lord? What cheer? How's with you, best brother?
You look as if you held a brow of much distraction. Are you moved, my lord?
No, in good earnest, how sometimes nature will betray its folly, its tenderness, and makes itself a pastime to harder bosoms. Looking on the lines of my boy's face, methoughts I did recoil 23 years, and saw myself unbreeched, in my green velvet coat, my dagger muzzled, lest it should bite its master, and so prove, as ornaments oft do, too dangerous. How like me thought I then was to this colonel, this squash, this gentleman. Mine honest friend, will you take eggs for money?
No, my lord, I'll fight. You will? Why, happy man be his dole. My brother, are you so fond of your young prince as we do seem to be of ours? If at home, sir, he's all my exercise, my mirth, my matter, now my sworn friend, and then mine enemy, my parasite, my soldier, statesman, all. He makes a July's day short as December, and with his varying childness cures in me thoughts that would thick my blood. So stands this squire officed with me. We two will walk, my lord, and leave you to your graver steps. Hermione, how thou lovest us, show in our brother's welcome. Let what is dear in Sicily be cheap. Next to thyself and my young rover, he's a parent to my heart.
If you would seek us, we are yours in the garden. Shall us attend you there? To your own bents dispose you. You'll be found, be you beneath the sky. I am angling now, though you perceive me not how I give line. Go to, go to. How she holds up the neb, the bill to him, and arms her with the boldness of a wife to her allowing husband. Gone already? Inch thick, knee deep, o'er head and ears a forked one. Go, play, boy, play. Thy mother plays, and I play too. But so disgraced a part, whose issue will hiss me to my grave. Contempt and clamor will be my knell. Go, play, boy, play.
There have been, or I am much deceived, cuckolds ere now. And many a man there is, even at this present, now, while I speak this, holds his wife by the arm that little thinks she has been sluiced in his absence, and his pond fished by his next neighbor, by Sir Smile, his neighbor. Nay, there's comfort in it, whilst other men have gates, and those gates opened as mine against their wills. Should all despair that have revolted wives, the 10th of mankind would hang themselves. Physic for it there is none. It is a body planet that will strike where 'tis predominant, and 'tis powerful, think it, from east, west, north, and south. Be it concluded, no barricado for a belly. Know it.
How now, boy?
I'm right here, they say.
Why, that's some comfort. What, Camillo there? Aye, my good lord. Go play, Mamilius. Thou art an honest man. Camillo, this great sir will yet stay longer. You had much ado to make his anger hold. When you cast out, it still came home. Didst you note it? He would not stay at your petitions, made his business more material. Didst perceive it? They're here with me already, whispering, rounding, Cecilia's, and so forth. 'Tis far gone, when I shall gust at last. How came't, Camillo, that he did stay?
At the good queen's entreaty. At the queen's be it. Good should be pertinent, but so it is not. Was this taken by any understanding, Pate, but thine? For thy conceit is soaking, will draw in more than the common blocks. Not noted is't, but of the finer natures, by some severals of headpiece extraordinary, lower messes perchance are to this business purblind. Say. Business, my lord. I think most understand Bohemia stays here longer. Ha! Stays here longer. Aye, but why? To satisfy your highness and the entreaties of our most gracious mistress. Satisfy the entreaties of your mistress. Satisfy. Let that suffice.
I have trusted thee, Camillo, with all the nearest things to my heart, as well my chamber councils, wherein priest-like thou hast cleansed my bosom. I from thee departed thy penitent reformed. But we have been deceived in thy integrity, deceived in that which seems so. Be it forbid, my lord. To bide upon it, thou art not honest, or if thou inclinest that way, thou art a coward which hoaxes honesty behind, restraining from course required. Or else thou must be counted a servant grafted in my serious trust, and therein negligent. Or else a fool that seest a game played home, the rich stake drawn, and takest it all for jest.
My gracious lord, I may be negligent, foolish, and fearful. In every one of these no man is free, but that his negligence, his folly, fear, among the infinite doings of the world, sometime puts forth. In your affairs, my lord, if ever I were willful negligent, it was my folly. If industriously I played the fool, it was my negligence, not weighing well the end. If ever fearful to do a thing, where I the issue doubted, whereof the execution did cry out against the non-performance, 'twas a fear which oft infects the wisest. These, my lord, are such allowed infirmities that honesty is never free of. But beseech your grace, be plainer with me. Let me know my trespass by its own visage. If I then deny it, 'tis none of mine.
Had not you seen Camillo? Huh, but that's passed out, you have, or your eyeglass is thicker than a cuckold's horn. Or heard, for to a vision so apparent rumour cannot be mute. Or thought, for cogitation resides not in a man that does not think. My wife is slippery. If thou wilt confess, or else be impudently negative, to have nor eyes, nor ears, nor thought, then say my wife's a hobby horse, deserves a name as rank as any flax wench that puts two before her troth plight. Say it, and justify it. I would not be a stander-by to hear my sovereign mistress clouded so without my present vengeance taken. Shrew my heart! You never spoke what did become you less than this, which, to reiterate, were a sin as deep as that, though true.
Is whispering nothing? Is leaning cheek to cheek? Is meeting noses? Kissing with inside lip? Stopping the career of laughing with a sigh, a note infallible of breaking honesty, forcing foot on foot? Skulking in corners, wishing clocks more swift, hours, minutes, noon, midnight, and all the eyes blind with pin and web, but there's only that would unseen be wicked. Is this nothing? Why then the world and all the day it's nothing. The covered sky is nothing. Bohemia is nothing. My wife is nothing. Nor nothing have these nothings, if this be nothing. Good my lord, be cured of this diseased opinion, and be times, for 'tis most dangerous. Say it be, 'tis true. No, my lord.
It is. You lie. You lie. I say thou liest, Camillo, and I hate thee. Pronounce thee a gross lout, a mindless slave, or else a hovering temporizer, that canst with thine eyes at once see good and evil, inclining to them both. Were my wife's liver infected as her life, she would not live the running of one glass.
Who does infect her?
Why, he that wears her like a medal hanging about his neck, Bohemia, who, if I had servants true about me, that bear eyes to see alike mine honour as their profits, their own particular thrifts, they would do that which should undo more doing. I, and thou, his cupbearer, whom I from meaner form have benched and reared to worship, who mayest see plainly as heaven sees earth, and earth sees heaven, how I am galled, mightest bespice a cup, to give mine enemy a lasting wink, which draught to me were cordial.
Sir, my lord, I could do this, and that with no rash potion, but with a lingering dram that should not work maliciously like poison. But I cannot believe this crack to be in my dread mistress. So sovereignly being honourable, I have loved thee. Make that thy question, and go rot. Dost think I am so muddy, so unsettled, to appoint myself in this vexation? Sully the purity and whiteness of my sheets, which to preserve is sleep, which being spotted is goads, thorns, nettles, tails of wasps, gives scandal to the blood of the prince my son, who I do think is mine, and love as mine, without right moving to it. Would I do this? Could man so blench?
I must believe you, sir. I do, and will fetch off Bohemia for it, provided that, when he's removed, your highness will take again your queen as yours at first, even for your son's sake, and thereby for sealing the injury of tongues in courts and kingdoms known and allied to yours. Thou dost advise me, even so as I mine own course have set down, I'll give no blemish to her honour, none. My lord, go then, and with a countenance as clear as friendship wears at feasts, keep with Bohemia and with your queen. I am his cupbearer. If from me he have wholesome beverage, account me not your servant. This is all. Do it, and thou hast the one half of my heart. Do it not, thou splittest thine own. I'll do it, my lord. I will seem friendly, as thou hast advised me.
Oh, miserable lady. But for me, what case stand I in? I must be the poisoner of good Polixenes, and my ground to do it is the obedience to a master, one who in rebellion with himself will have all that are his so too. To do this deed, promotion follows. If I could find example of thousands that had struck anointed kings and flourished after, I'd not do't. But since nor brass, nor stone, nor parchment bears not one, but villainy itself forswear it, I must forsake the court. To do it or no is certain to me a breakneck. Happy star ring now, here comes Bohemia. This is strange. Methinks my favor here begins to warp. Not speak? Good day, Camillo. Hail, most royal sir.
What is the news of the court?
None rare, my lord.
The king hath on him such a countenance as he had lost some province in a region, loved as he loves himself. Even now I met him with customary compliment, when he, wafting his eyes to the contrary and failing a lip of much contempt, speeds from me, and so leaves me to consider what is breeding that changeth thus his manners.
I dare not know, my lord.
How? Dare not? Do not. Do you know? And dare not. Be intelligent to me. 'Tis thereabouts. For to yourself. What do you know? You must. And cannot say. You dare not. Good Camillo, your changed complexions are to me a mirror which shows me mine changed too. For I must be a party in this alteration, finding myself thus altered with it.
There is a sickness that puts some of us in distemper, but I cannot name the disease that is caught of you that yet are well.
How? Caught of me? Make me not sighted like the basilisk. I have looked on thousands who have sped the better by my regard, but killed none so. Camillo, as you are certainly a gentleman, that you clerk-like experience, which no less adorns our gentry than our parents' noble names, in whose success we are gentle, I beseech you, if you know aught which does behove my knowledge thereof to be informed, imprison it not in ignorant concealment.
I may not answer.
Sickness caught of me, and yet I well? I must be answered.
Sorry, my eyes were watering because of the sun.
That's all right.
Dost thou hear, Camillo? I conjure thee by all the parts of man, which honor does acknowledge, whereof the least is not this suit of mine, that thou declare what incidency thou dost guess of harm is creeping toward me. How far off? How near? Which way to be prevented, if to be? If not, how best to bear it? Sir, I will tell you, since I am charged in honor, and by him that which I think honorable, therefore mark my counsel, which must be even as swiftly followed as I mean to utter it, or both yourself and me cry lost, and so good night. O good Camillo, I am appointed him to murder you. By whom, Camillo? By the king. For what?
He thinks, nay, with all confidence he swears, as he had seen't, or been an instrument to vice you to't, that you have touched his queen, forbiddenly. Oh, then my best blood turn to an infected jelly, and my name be yoked with his that did betray the best. Turn then my freshest reputation to a savour that may strike the dullest nostril, where I arrive and my approach be shunned. Nay, hated too, worse than the greatest infection that e'er was heard or read. Swear his thought over by each particular star in heaven and by all their influences. You may as well forbid the sea to obey the moon, as or by oath remove or counsel shake the fabric of his folly, whose foundation is piled upon his faith and will continue the standing of his body.
How should this grow?
I know not, but I am sure 'tis safer to avoid what's grown than question how 'tis born. If therefore you dare trust my honesty, that lies enclosed in this trunk, which you shall bear along in pond, away tonight. Your followers I will whisper to the business, and will by twos and threes at several posterns clear them of the city. For myself I'll put my fortunes to your service, which are here by this discovery lost. Be not uncertain, for by the honor of my parents I have uttered truth, which if you seek to prove, I dare not stand by, nor shall you be safer than one condemned by the king's own mouth, thereon his execution sworn.
I do believe thee. I saw his heart in his face.
Give me thy hand. Be pilot to me, and thy places shall still neighbor mine. My ships are ready, and my people did expect my hence departure 2 days ago. This jealousy is for a precious creature. As she's rare, must it be great, and as his person's mighty, must it be violent. And as he does conceive he is dishonored by a man, which ever professed to him, why his revenges must in that be made more bitter. Fear o'ershadows me. Good expedition be my friend, and comfort the gracious queen, part of his theme, but nothing of his ill-taken suspicion. Come, Camillo, I will respect thee as a father, if thou bearest my life off hence. Let us avoid. It is mine honor to command the keys of all the parsons. Please your highness to take the urgent hour. Come, sir, away.
Take the boy to you. Oh, he so troubles me. 'Tis past enduring.
Come, my gracious lord, shall I be your playfellow?
No, all none of you.
Why, my sweet lord?
You'll kiss me hard and speak to me as if I were a baby still. I love you better.
And why so, my lord?
Not for because your brows are black, or yet black brows, they say, become some women best, so that there be not too much hair there, but in a semicircle or a half moon made with a pen.
Who taught you this?
I learnt it out of women's faces. Oh, pray now, what color are your eyebrows?
Blue, my lord. Nay, that's a mock. I have seen a lady's nose that has been blue, but not her eyebrows. Hark ye, the queen your mother rounds apace. We shall present our services to a fine new prince one of these days, and then you'd wanton with us if we would have you. She is spread of late into a goodly bulk. Good time, encounter her. What wisdom stirs amongst you? Come, sir, now I am for you again. Pray you sit by us and tells a tale. Merry or sad shall it be? As merry as you will. A sad tale's best for winter. I have one of sprites and goblins.
Let's have that, good sir. Come on, sit down. Come on and do your best to frighten me with your sprites. You're powerful at it.
There was a man.
Nay, come, sit down. Then on.
Dwelt by a churchyard, I will tell it softly. Yon crickets shall not hear it.
Well, come on then, and give it me in mine ear. Was he met there? His train? Camillo with him?
Behind the tufted pines I met them. Never saw I men scour so on their way. I eyed them even to their ships.
How blessed am I in my just censure, in my true opinion. A lack for lesser knowledge. How accursed in being so blessed.
There may be in the cup a spider steeped, and one may drink, depart, and yet partake no venom. For his knowledge is not infected. But if one present the abhorred ingredient to his eye, make known how he hath drunk, he cracks his gorge, his sides, with violent hefts. I have drunk, and seen the spider. Camillo was his help in this, his pander. There is a plot against my life, my crown. All is true that is mistrusted. That false villain whom I employed was pre-employed by him. He has discovered my design, and I remain a pinched thing, yea, a very trick for them to play at will. How came the posterns so easily open?
By his great authority, which often hath no less prevailed than so on your command.
I know it too well. Give me the boy. I am glad you did not nurse him. Though he does bear some signs of me, yet you have too much blood in him.
What is this? Sport!
Bear the boy hence. Do not let him come about her. Away with him. And let her sport with that she is big. For 'tis Polixenes that made thee swell thus.
But I'd say he had not. And I'll be sworn, you would believe my saying. How you lean to the nay word?
You, my lords, look on her. Mark her well. Be but about to say she is a goodly lady, and the justice of your hearts will thereto add 'tis pity she is not honest, honorable.
Praise her, but fraud is her without or form, which on my faith deserves high speech and straight the shrug, the hum or haw these petty brands that calumny doth use. Oh, I am out. That mercy does for calumny we'll see. Virtue itself, these shrugs, these hums and haws, when you have said she's goodly come between. You can say she's honest, but be it known from him that has most cause to grieve, it should be she's an adulteress.
Should a villain say so? The most replenished villain in the world, he were as much more a villain. You, my lord, did but mistake.
You have mistook, my lady, Polixenes for Leontes, O thou thing, which I'll not call a creature of thy place, lest barbarism, making me the precedent, should a like language used to all degrees and mannerly distinguishment leave out betwixt the prince and beggar.
I have said she's an adulteress. I have said with whom. More, she's a traitor, and Camillo is a federary with her, and one that knows what she should shame to know herself, but with her most vile principle, that she's a bed-swerver, even as bad as those that vulgars give boldest titles, aye, and privy to their latest scape.
No, by my life, privy to none of this. How shall this grieve you, when you shall come to clearer knowledge that you thus have published me? Gentle my lord, you scarce can write me throughly than to say you did mistake.
No! If I mistake in those foundations which I build upon, the centre is not big enough to bear a schoolboy's top. Away with her to prison. He who shall speak for her is afar off guilty, but that he speaks.
There's some ill planet reigns. I must be patient till the heavens look with an aspect more favourable. Good, my lords, I am not prone to weeping as our sex commonly are, the want of which vain do perchance shall dry your pities, but I have that honourable grief lodged here, which burns worse than tears drown. Beseech you all, my lords, with thoughts so qualified as your charity shall best instruct you, measure me, and so the king's will be performed. Shall I be heard? Who is it that goes with me? Beseech your highness, My women may be with me, for you see my plight requires it. Do not weep, good fools. There is no cause.
When you shall know your mistress has deserved prison, then abound in tears as I come out. This action I now go on is for my better grace. Adieu, my lord. I never wished to see you sorry. Now I trust I shall. My women come. You have leave. Go. Do our bidding. Hence. Beseech your highness. Call the queen again. Be certain what you do, sir, lest your justice prove violence, in the which 3 great ones suffer, yourself, your queen, your son. For her, my lord, I dare my life lay down, and will do't, sir. Please you to accept it, that the queen is spotless in the eyes of heaven and to you. I mean, in this which you accuse her. If it prove she's otherwise, I'll keep my stables where I lodge my wife.
I'll go in couples with her. Then when I feel and see her, no farther trust her. For every inch of woman in the world, every dram of woman's flesh is false, if she be.
Hold your pieces.
Good my lord. It is for you we speak, not for ourselves. You are abused, and by some putter-on that will be damned for it. Would I knew the villain, I would land damn him. Be she honor flawed, I have 3 daughters. The eldest is 11, the second and the third 9, and some 5. If this prove true, they'll pay for't. Bind mine honor, I'll geld them all. 14 they shall not see, to bring false generations. They are co-heirs, and I had rather glib myself than they should not produce fair issue.
Cease, no more. You smell this business with a sense as cold as is a dead man's nose. But I do see it and feel it as you feel doing us. And see with all the instruments that feel.
If it be so, we need no grave to bury honesty. There's not the green of it, the face to sweeten of the whole dung here.
What? Lack I credit?
I'd rather you lack than I, my lord, on this ground. And more 'twould content me to see her honor true than your suspicion. Be blamed for it. How ye might.
Why, what need we commune with you of this? But rather follow our forceful instigation. Our prerogative calls not your counsels, but our natural goodness imparts this.
Which if you, or stupefied or seeming so in skill, cannot or will not relish a truth like us, inform yourselves, we need no more of your advice. The matter, the loss, the gain, the ordering on it is all properly ours.
And I wish, my liege, you had only in your silent judgment tried it, without more overture.
But how could that be? Either thou art most ignorant by age, or thou wert born a fool. Camillo's flight, added to their familiarity, which was as gross as ever touched conjecture, that lacked only sight, naught for approbation, but only seeing all other circumstances made up to the deed, doth push on this proceeding. Yet, for a greater confirmation, for in a matter of this importance 'twere most piteous to be wild.
I have dispatched in post to sacred Delphos, to Apollo's temple, Cleomenes and Dion, whom you know of stuffed sufficiency. Now from the oracle they will bring all, whose spiritual counsel shall stop or spur me. Have I done well?
Well done, my lord.
Though I am satisfied and need no more than what I know, Yet shall the oracle give rest to the minds of others, such as he whose ignorant credulity will not come up to the truth. So have we thought it good from our free person she should be confined, lest that the treachery of the two fled hence be left her to perform. Come, follow us. We are to speak in public, for this business will raise us all.
To laughter, I take it, if the good truth were known.
The keeper of the prison. Call to him. Let him have knowledge who I am. Good lady, no court in Europe is too good for you. What dost thou then in prison? Now, good sir, you know me, do you not? For a worthy lady, and one who much I honour, pray you then, conduct me to the Queen. I may not, madam. To the contrary, I have express commandment. Here's a due, to lock up honesty and honour from the access of gentle visitors. Is it lawful, pray you, then, to see her women? Any of them? Emilia?
So please you, madam, to put apart these your attendants. I shall bring Emilia forth. I pray now, call her. Withdraw yourselves. And, madam, I must be present at your conference. Well, be it so, prithee. Here's such an ado to make no stain a stain as passes colouring. Dear gentlewoman, how fares our gracious lady? As well as one so great and so forlorn may hold together, on her frights and griefs, which never tender lady hath borne greater, she is something beyond her time delivered. A boy.
Daughter, and a goodly babe, lusty and like to live. The queen receives much comfort in it. Says, my poor prisoner, I am innocent as you. I dare be sworn, these dangerous, unsafe loons of the king, beshrew them. He must be told on it, and he shall. The office becomes a woman best. I'll take it upon me. If I approve honey-mouthed, let my tongue blister, and never to my red-looked anger be the trumpet any more. Pray you, Emilia, commend my best obedience to the queen. If she dares trust me with her little babe, I'll show it the king, and undertake to be her advocate in the loudest. We do not know how we may soften at the sight of the child. The silence often of pure innocence persuades when speaking fails.
Most worthy madam, your honor and your goodness is so evident that your free undertaking cannot miss a thriving issue. There is no lady living so meet to this great errand. Please your ladyship to visit the next room. I'll presently acquaint the queen of your most noble offer, who but today hammered of this design, but durst not tempt a minister of honor, lest she should be denied. Tell her, Emilia, I'll use that tongue I have, if wit flow from it, as boldness from my bosom, let it not be doubted. I shall do good. Now you be blessed for it. I'll to the queen, please you, come something nearer. Madam, if it please the queen to send the babe, I know not what I shall incur to pass it, having no warrant.
You need not fear it, sir. This child was prisoner to the womb, and is by law and process of great nature thence freed and enfranchised, not a party to the anger of the king, nor guilty of, if any be, the trespass of the queen. I do believe it. Do not you fear. Upon mine honor, I will stand betwixt you and danger. Nor night, nor day, no rest. It is but weakness to bear the matter thus, mere weakness. If the cause were not in being part of the cause, she the adulteress, for the harlot king is quite beyond mine arm, out of the blank and level of my brain, plot-proof. But she I can hook to me. Say that she were gone, given to the fire, a moiety of my rest might come to me again. Who's there?
My lord,
How does the boy?
he took good rest tonight. 'Tis hoped his sickness is discharged.
To see his nobleness. Conceiving the dishonor of his mother, he straight declined, drooped, took it deeply, fastened and fixed the shame on't in himself, threw off his spirit, his appetite, his sleep, and downright languished. Leave me solely, go, see how he fares. Fie, no thought on him. Oh, thought of my revenges that way recoil upon me. In himself too mighty, and in his parties his alliance let him be until a time may serve. For present vengeance, take it on her. Camillo and Polixenes laugh at me, make their pastime at my sorrow. They should not laugh if I could reach them, nor shall she within my power.
You must not enter.
Nay, rather good my lords be second to me. Fear you his tyrannous passions more, alas, than the queen's life? A gracious, innocent soul, more free than he is jealous.
That's enough.
Madam, he hath not slept tonight. Command none should come at him. Not so hot, good sir. I come to bring him sleep. 'Tis such as you that creep like shadows by him, and do sigh at each his needless heavings. Such as you nourish the cause of his awaking. I do come with words as medicinal as true, honest as either, to purge him of that humour that presses him from sleep.
Oh, what noise there, ho!
No noise, my lord, but needful conference about some gossips from your highness.
How? Away with that audacious lady! Antigonus, I charge thee that she should not come about me. I knew she would.
I told her so, my lord. On your displeasure's peril and on mine, she should not visit you.
What? Canst not rule her?
From all dishonesty he can, in this, unless he takes the course that you have done, commit me for committing honor. Trust it, he shall not rule me. Lay you now, you hear. When she will take the rein, I let her run, but she'll not stumble. Good, my liege, I come, and I beseech you, hear me who profess myself your loyal servant, your physician, your most obedient counselor, yet that dare less appear so in comforting evils, that such as most seem as yours, I say I come, from your good queen.
Good queen.
Good queen, my lord, good queen. I say good queen, and would by combat make her good, were I a man the worst about you.
Force her hence.
Let him that makes but trifles of his eyes first hand me on mine own accord. I'll off. But first I'll do my errand. The good queen, for she is good, hath brought you forth a daughter. Here 'tis. Commends it to your blessing.
Out, a mankind witch. Hence with her, out a door, a most intelligencing board.
Not so. I am as ignorant in that as you, and so entitling me, and no less honest than you are mad, which is enough, I'll warrant, as this world goes, to pass for honest.
Traitors, will you not push her out?
Give her the bastard, thou dotard. Thou art woman tired, unroosted by thy dame partlet here. Take up the bastard. Take it up, I say. Give it to the crone.
Forever and venerable be thy hands, if thou takest up the princess by that forced baseness which he hath put upon it.
He dreads his wife.
So I would you did. Then 'twere past all doubt you'd call your children yours.
A nest of traitors! I am none by this good light.
Nor I, nor any, but one that's here, and that's himself. For he, the sacred honor of himself, his queens, his hopeful sons, his babes, betrays to slander, whose sting is sharper than the swords.
And will not, for as the case now stands, it is a curse he cannot be compelled to't. Once remove the root of his opinion, which is rotten as ever oak or stone was sound. A callet of boundless tongue, who late hath beat her husband, and now baits me? This brat is none of mine, it is the issue of Polixenes. Hence with it, and together with the dam commit them to the fire. It is yours, and might we lay the old proverb to your charge, so like you 'tis the worst. Behold, my lords, although the print be little, the whole matter and copy of the father. Eyes, nose, lip, the trick-off's frown, his forehead, nay, the valley, the pretty dimples of his chin and cheek, his smiles, the very mold and frame of hand, nail, finger.
And thou, good goddess nature, which hath made it so like to him that got it, if thou hast the ordering of the mind too, mongst all the colors no yellow in it, lest she suspect as he does her children, not her husbands, a gross hag, and Losel, thou art worthy to be hanged that will not stay her tongue. Well, hang all the husbands that cannot do that feat. You'll leave yourself hardly one subject. Once more, take her hence. A most unworthy and unnatural lord can do no more. I'll have thee burnt. I care not. It is an heretic that makes the fire, not she which burns in it.
I'll not call you tyrant, but this most cruel usage of your queen, not able to produce more accusation than your own weak-hinged fancy, something savors of tyranny, and will ignoble make you, yea, scandalous to the world.
On your allegiance, out of the chamber with her. Were I a tyrant, where were her life? She does not call me so, she did know me one. Away with her.
I pray you do not push me, I'll be gone. Look to your babe, my lord. 'Tis yours. Jove send her a better guiding spirit. But what needs these hands? You that are thus so tender, or his follies will never do him good. Not one of you. So, farewell. We are gone.
Thou, traitor, hast set on thy wife to this, my child? Away with't! Even thou hast a heart so tender, or take it hence and see it instantly consumed with fire. Even thou, and none but thou, take it up straight. Within this hour bring me word 'tis done, and by good testimony, or I'll seize thy life with what thou else callest thine. If thou refuse, and wilt encounter my wrath, say so. The bastard brains with these my proper hands shall I dash out. Go, take it to the fire, for thou settest on thy wife. I did not, sir. These lords, my noble fellows, if they please, can clear me in it.
We can, my royal liege. He is not guilty of her coming hither.
You're liars, all.
Beseech your highness, give us better credit. We have always truly served you, and beseech you so to esteem of us, and on our knees we beg, as recompense of our dear services past and to come, that you do change this purpose, which, being so horrible, so bloody, must lead on to some foul issue. We all kneel.
I am a feather for each wind that blows. Shall I live on to see this bastard kneel and call me father? Better burn it now than curse it then. But be it, let it live, it shall not neither. You, sir, come you hither. You that have been so tenderly officious with Lady Marjorie, your midwife there, to save this bastard's life, for 'tis a bastard so sure as this beard's grey. What will you adventure to save this brat's life?
Anything, my lord, that my ability may undergo or nobleness impose, at least thus much. I'll pawn the little blood which I have left to save the innocent. Anything possible.
It shall be possible. Swear by this sword, thou wilt perform my bidding.
I will, my lord.
Mark and perform it. Seest thou, for the fail of any point in it shall not only be death to thyself, but to thy blue-tongued wife, whom this time we parted. We enjoin thee, as thou art liegeman to us, that thou carry this female bastard hence, and that thou bear it to some remote and desert place quite out of our dominions, and that there thou leave it, without more mercy, to its own protection, in favor of the climate.
As by strange fortune it came to us, I do injustice, charge thee on thy soul's peril and thy body's torture, that thou commend it strangely to some place where chance may nurse or end it. Take it up. I swear to do this, though a present death had been more merciful. Come on, poor babe. Some powerful spirit instruct the kites and ravens to be thy nurses. Wolves and bears, they say, casting their savageness aside, have done like offices of pity. Sir, be prosperous in more than this deed does require, and blessing against this cruelty, fight on thy side, poor thing, condemned to loss. No, I'll not rear another's issue.
Please, your highness, post from those you sent to the oracle are come in our sense. Cleomenes and Dion, being well arrived from Delphos, are both landed, hasting to the court.
So please you, sir, their speed hath been beyond account.
23 days they have been absent. 'Tis good speed. Foretells the great Apollo suddenly will have the truth of this appear. Prepare you, lords. Summon a session that we may arraign our most disloyal lady. For as she hath been publicly accused, so shall she have a just and open trial. While she lives, my heart will be a burden to me. Leave me, and think upon my bidding.
The climate's delicate, the air most sweet. Fertile the isle, the temple much surpassing the common praise it bears.
I shall report, for most it caught me, the celestial habits, methinks I should so term them, and the reverence of the grave wearers. Oh, the sacrifice, how ceremonious, solemn, and unearthly it was in the offering.
But of all, the burst and ear-deafening voice of the oracle, kin to Jove's thunder, so surprised my sense that I was nothing.
If the event of the journey prove as successful to the queen, oh, be it so, as it hath been to us rare, pleasant, speedy, the time is worth the use on't.
Great Apollo, turn all to the best. These proclamations, so forcing faults upon Hermione, I little like.
The violent carriage of it will clear or end the business. When the oracle, thus by Apollo's great divine, is sealed up, shall the contents discover something rare, even then will rush to knowledge. Go, fresh horses, and gracious be the issue. Go get those horses.
This session, to our great grief we pronounce, even pushes against our heart. The party tried, the daughter of a king, our wife, and one of us too much beloved. Let us be cleared of being tyrannous, since we so openly proceed in justice, which shall have due course, even to the guilt or the purgation. Produce the prisoner. It is His Highness's pleasure that the Queen appear in person here in court. Silence. Read the indictment. Hermione, Queen to the worthy Leontes, King of Sicilia, thou art here accused and arraigned of high treason in committing adultery with Polixenes, King of Bohemia, and conspiring with Camillo to take away the life of our sovereign lord the king, thy royal husband.
The pretense, whereof being by circumstances partially laid open, thou, Hermione, contrary to the faith and allegiance of a true subject, didst counsel and aid them for their better safety to fly away by night. Since what I am to say must be but that which contradicts my accusation, and the testimony on my part no other but what comes from myself, it shall scarce boot me to say not guilty. My integrity, being counted falsehood, shall, as I express it, be so received. But thus, if powers divine behold our human actions as they do, I doubt not then but innocence shall make false accusations blush, and tyranny tremble at patience. You, my lord, best know, who least will seem to do so, my past life hath been as continent, as chaste, as true, as I am now unhappy.
Which is more than history can pattern, though devise and played to take spectators. For behold me, a fellow of the royal bed, would show a moiety of the throne, a great king's daughter, the mother of a hopeful prince, here standing to talk and prate of life and honor, for who pleads to come and hear. For life, I prize it as I weigh grief, which I would spare. For honor, 'tis a derivative from me to mine, and only that I stand for. I appeal to your own conscience, sir. Before Polixenes came to your court, how I was in your grace, how merited to be so. Since he came, with what encounters so uncurrent, I have strained to peer thus. If one jot beyond the bound of honor, or in act or will that way inclining, hardened be the hearts of all that hear me, and my nearest of kin cry fie upon my grave.
I ne'er heard yet that any of these bolder vices wanted less impudence to gainsay what they did than to perform it first. That's true enough, though 'tis a saying, sir, not due to me. You will not own it? More than mistress, of which comes to me a name of fault, I must not at all acknowledge. For Polixenes, with whom I am accused, I do confess, I loved him as in honor he required, with such a kind of love as might become a lady like me, with a love even such, so and no more, as you yourself commanded, which not to have done, I think had been in me both disobedience and ingratitude to you and toward your friend, whose love had spoke, even since it could speak from an infant, freely that it was yours.
Now for conspiracy, I know not how it tastes, though it be dished for me to try how. All I know of it is that Camillo was an honest man, and why he left your court, the gods themselves, wedding no more than I, are ignorant. You knew of his departure, as you know what you have undertaken to do in his absence. Sir, you speak a language that I understand not. My life stands in the level of your dreams, which I'll lay down. Your actions are my dreams. You had a bastard by Polixenes, and I dreamed it. As you are past all shame, those of your fact are so past all truth, which to deny concerns more than avails. For as thy brat hath been cast out like to itself, no father owning it, which is indeed more criminal in thee than it.
So thou shalt feel our justice, in whose easiest passage look for no less than death.
Sir, spare your threats.
The bug which she would fright me with, I seek. To me, life can be no commodity. The crown and comfort of my life, your favor, I do give lost, for I do feel it gone, but know not how it went. My second joy, and first fruits of my body, from his presence I am barred like one infectious. My third comfort, starred most unluckily, is from my breast. The innocent milk in its most innocent mouth held out to murder. Myself on every post proclaimed a strumpet, with a modest hatred the child-bed privilege denied which longs to women of all fashion.
Lastly, hurried here, to this place in the open air before I have got strength of limit. Now, my liege, tell me what blessings I have here alive that I should fear to die. Therefore proceed, but yet hear this. Mistake me not, no life. I prize it not a straw, but for mine honor, which I would free if I shall be condemned upon surmises. All proofs sleeping else, but what your jealousies awake, I tell you, 'tis rigor and not law. Your honors all, I do refer me to the oracle. Apollo be my judge. This your request is altogether just. Therefore bring forth, and in Apollo's name, his oracle.
The Emperor of Russia was my father. Oh, that he were alive, and here beholding his daughter's trial, that he did but see the flatness of my misery, yet with eyes of pity, not revenge. You here shall swear upon this sword of justice that you, Cleomenes and Dion, have been both at Delphos, and from thence have brought the sealed-up oracle by the hand delivered of great Apollo's priest, and that since then you have not dared to break the holy seal, nor read the secrets in it. All of this we swear. Break up the seals and read. Hermione is chaste, Polixenes blameless, Camillo a true subject, Leontes a jealous tyrant, his innocent babe truly begotten, and the king shall live without an heir, if that which is lost be not found.
Now blessed be the great Apollo. Praised hast thou read truth. Aye, my lord, even so, it is here set down. There is no truth at all in the oracle. Session shall proceed. This is mere falsehood. My lord, the king! The king! What is this business? Oh, sir, how should we hated to repeat it? The prince, your son, in me conceit and fear of the queen's speed, is gone. How? Gone. Is dead. Apollo is angry, and the heavens themselves do strike at my injustice. How now there? The news is mortal to the queen. Look down and see what death is doing.
Take her hence. Her heart is but overcharged. She will recover. I have too much believed mine own suspicion. Beseech you, tenderly apply to her some remedies for life. Apollo, pardon my great profaneness against thine oracle. I'll reconcile me to Polixenes. Anew woo my queen, recall the good Camillo, whom I proclaim a man of truth, of mercy, for being transported by my jealousies to bloody thoughts and to revenge. I chose Camillo for the minister to poison my friend Polixenes, which had been done, but that the good mind of Camillo tardied my swift command. Though I with death and reward did threaten and encourage him, not doing it and being done.
He, most humane and filled with honor, to my kingly guest unclasped my practice, quit his fortunes here, which you knew great, and to the certain hazard of all uncertainties himself commended, no richer than his honor. How he glisters through my rest, and how his piety does my deeds make the blacker. Woe the while! Oh, cut my lace, lest my heart, cracking it, break too.
Oh, what fit is this, good lady?
What studied torments, tyrant, hast for me? What wheels, racks, fires, what flame, boiling in leads or oils? What old or newer torture must I receive, whose every word deserves to taste of thy most worst?
Thy tyranny, together working with thy jealousies, fancies too weak for boys, too green and idle for girls of 9. Oh, think what they have done, and it run mad indeed, stark mad, for all thy bygone fooleries or rich spices of it. That thou betrayedst Polixenes, 'twas nothing. That did but show thee of a fool, ignorant, and damnable and grateful. Nor was much that thou betrayed poor Camillo's honor to have him kill a king. Poor trespasses more monstrous standing by, whereof I reckon the casting forth to crows thy baby daughter to be none or little, the devil would have shed water ere fire ere done it. Nor can it be directly laid to thee the death of the young prince, whose honourable thoughts
high for one so tender, cleft the heart that could conceive a gross and foolish sire, blemished his gracious dam. This is not, no, laid to thy answer, but the last. O lords, when I have said, cry woe! The queen, the sweet dearest creature's dead! And vengeance fought, not dropped down yet. The higher powers forbid! I say she's dead. I'll sweat. If word nor oath prevail not, go and see. If you can bring tincture or lustre in her lip, her eye, heat outwardly or breath within, I'll serve you as I would do the gods. But oh, thou tyrant, do not repent these things, for they are heavier than all thy woes can stir. Therefore betake thee to nothing but despair.
1,000 knees, 10,000 years together, naked, fasting, upon a barren mountain, and still in winter storm perpetual, could not move the gods to look that way thou wert! Go on. Go on. Thou canst not speak too much. I have deserved all the tongues to talk their bitterest. Say no more. However the business goes, you have made fault in the boldness of your speech. I am sorry for it. All faults I make, when I shall come to know them, I do repent. Alas, I have showed too much the rashness of woman. He is touched to the noble heart. What's gone and what's past help should be past grief. Do not receive affliction at my petition. I beseech you. Rather let me be punished, that have minded you of what you should forget.
Now, good my liege, sir, royal sir, forgive a foolish woman. The love I bore your queen. Oh, though fool again, I'll speak of her no more, nor of your children. I'll not remember you of mine own lord, who was lost too. Take your patience to you, and I'll say nothing.
Thou didst speak but well, when most the truth, which I receive much better than to be pitied of thee. Prithee, bring me to the dead bodies of my queen and son. One grave shall be for both. Upon them shall the causes of the death appear, unto our shame perpetual. Once a day I'll visit the chapel where they lie, and tears shed there shall be my recreation. So long as nature will bear up with this exercise, so long I daily vow to use it. Come and lead me unto these sorrows.
Thou art perfect, then? Our ship hath touched upon the deserts of Bohemia?
Aye, my lord, and fear we have landed in ill time. The skies look grimly and threaten present blusters. In my conscience, the heavens with that we have in hand are angry and frown upon us.
Their sacred wills be done. Go, get aboard, look to thy bark. I'll not be long before I call upon thee.
Make your best haste, and go not too far in the land. 'Tis like to be loud weather. Besides, this place is famous for the creatures of prey that keep upon it.
Go thou away, I'll follow instantly.
I am glad at heart to be so rid of this business.
Come, poor babe. I have heard, but not believed, the spirits of the dead may walk again. If such thing be, thy mother appeared to me last night, for never was a dream so like a waking. To me comes a creature, sometimes her head on one side, some another. I never saw a vessel of like sorrow, so filled and so becoming in pure white robes, like very sanctity. She did approach my cabin where I lay, thrice bowed before me, and gasping to begin some speech, her eyes became two spouts, the fury spent, and on did this break from her. Good Antigonus, since fate against thy better disposition hath made thy person for the thrower out of my poor babe, according to thine oath, places remote enough are in Bohemia. There, weep and leave it crying.
And for the babe is counted lost forever. Perdita, I prithee, call't. For this ungentle business put on thee by my lord, thou ne'er shalt see thy wife Paulina more. And so with shrieks she melted into air. Affrighted much, I did in time collect myself, and thought this was so, and no slumber. Dreams are toys, yet for this once, yea, superstitiously, I will be squared by this. I do believe Hermione hath suffered death, and that Apollo would, this being indeed the issue of King Polixenes, it should here be laid, either for life or death, upon the earth of its right father. Blossom, speed thee well. There lie, and there thy character. There these, which may, if fortune please, both breed thee, pretty, and still rest thine.
The storm begins. Poor wretch, that for thy mother's fault art thus exposed to loss, and what may follow. Weep I cannot, but my heart bleeds, and most accursed am I, to be by oath enjoined to this. Farewell! The day frowns more and more. Thou'rt like to have a lullaby, too rough. I never saw the heavens so dim by day. A savage clamour. Well may I get on board. This is the chase. I am gone forever. Bah. I would that there were no age between 16 and 23, or that youth would sleep out the rest, for there is nothing in the in-between but getting wenches with child, wrong in the ancestry, stealing, fighting.
Hark you now! Would any but the boiled brains of 19 and 2 and 20 hunt this weather? They have scared 2 of my best sheep, and I fear that the wolf will sooner get them than the master. Anywhere if I have them, 'tis by the seaside browsing the ivy. Good luck, and be thy will. What do we hear? A band? A pretty band. Is it a boy or a child, I wonder? A pretty one, a very pretty one. Sure, some scape. Bookish I am not yet. I can read a waiting gentlewoman in this scape. This is some stair work, some trunk work, some behind the door work. They were warmer that got this than the poor thing here. I'll take it up for pity. Yet I'll tarry till my son come. He hallowed but even now. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Hello. What? Art so near? If thou seen a thing to talk about when thou art dead and rotten, come hither. What ailest thou, man? I have seen 2 such sights, by sea and by land, but I am not to say it is a sea, for it is now the sky. Betwixt the firmament and it, you cannot thrust a bodkin's point. Why, boy, how is it? I would you did but see how it chafes, how it rages, how it takes up the shore. Oh, but that's not the point. Oh, the most piteous cry of the poor souls, sometimes to see 'em and not to see 'em. Now the ship, boring the moon with her main mast, and anon swallowed by yeast and froth as you thrust a cork into a hogshead.
And then for the land service, to see how the bear tore out his shoulder bone, how he cried to me for help, and said his name was Antigonus, a nobleman. But to make an end of the ship, to see how the sea flap-dragoned it. But first how the poor souls roared, and the sea mocked them, and how the poor gentleman roared, and the bear mocked him, both roaring louder than the sea or weather. Name of mercy, when was this, boy? Now. I have not winked since I saw these sights. The men are not yet cold under water, nor the bear half dined on the gentleman. He's at it now.
Would I have been by to have helped the old man? I would you have been by the ship side to have helped her. There your charity would have lacked footing. Heavy matters. Heavy matters. But look thee here, boy. Now bless thyself. Thou mettest with things dying, I with things newborn. Here's a sight for thee. Look thee, a bearing cloth for a squire's child. Look thee here. Take up, boy, open't. So let's see. It was told me I should be rich by the fairies. This is some changeling, open't. What's within, boy? You're a made old man. If the sins of your youth are forgiven you, you're well to live. Gold, all gold.
This is fairy gold, boy. And don't bruise so. Up with it. Keep it close. Home, the next way. We are lucky, boy. And to be so still requires nothing but secrecy. Oh, let my sheep go. Come, good boy, the next way home. Go you the next way with your findings. I'll go see if the bear be gone from the gentleman and how much he has eaten. And they're never cursed when they're hungry. If there be any of them left, I'll bury it. That's a good deed. If thou mayst discern by that which is left of him what he is, fetch me to the side of him. Marry will I, and you shall help me to put him in the ground. 'Tis a lucky day, boy, and we'll do good deeds on it.
I, that please some,
Try all, both joy and terror, of good and bad, that masks and unfolds error, now take upon me, in the name of time, to use my wings. Impute it not a crime to me or my swift passage, that I slide o'er 16 years, and leave the growth untried of that white gap, since it is in my power to o'erthrow law, and in one self-born hour to plant an o'erwhelmed custom. Let me pass the same I am, ere ancient order was, or what is now received. I witness to the times that brought them in, so shall I do to the freshest things now reigning, and make stale the glistering of this present, as my tale now seems to it. Your patience this allowing, I turn my glass, and give my scene such growing as you had slept between.
Leontes leaving, the effects of his fond jealousy so grieving, that he shuts himself up. Imagine me, gentle spectators, that I now may be in fair Bohemia. And remember well, I mentioned a son of the king's, which Florizel I now name to you, and with speed so paced to speak of Perdita, now grown in grace, equal with wondering, what of her ensues? I list not prophecy, but let time's news be known when 'tis brought forth a shepherd's daughter, and what to her adheres, which follows after, is the argument of time. Of this allow, if ever you have spent time worse ere now, if never, yet that time himself doth say, he wishes earnestly you never may.
I pray thee, good Camillo, be no more importunate. 'Tis a sickness denying thee anything, a death to grant this. It is 15 years since I saw my country. Though I have for the most part been aired abroad, I desire to lay my bones there. Besides, the penitent king my master hath sent for me, to whose feelings sorrows I may be some allay, or I owe in to think so, which is another spur to my departure. As thou lovest me, Camillo, wipe not out the rest of thy services by leaving me now. The need I have of thee thine own goodness hath made. Better not to have had thee than thus to want thee. Thou, having made me businesses which none without thee can sufficiently manage, must either stay to execute them thyself, or take away with thee the very services thou hast done.
Which, if I have not enough considered, as too much I cannot, to be more thankful to thee shall be my study, and my profits therein the heaping friendships. Of that fatal country Sicilia, prithee speak no more, whose very naming punishes me with the remembrance of that penitent, as thou callest him, and reconciled king my brother, whose loss of his most precious queen and children is even now to be afresh lamented. Say to me, when saw'st thou the Prince Florizel, my son? Kings are no less unhappy their issue not being gracious than they are in losing them when they have approved their virtues.
Sir, it is 3 days since I saw the prince. What his happy affairs may be are to me unknown, but I have missingly noted he is of late much retired from court, and is less frequent to his princely exercises than formerly he hath appeared. I have considered so much, Camillo, and with some care, so far that I have eyes under my service which look upon his removedness, from whom I have this intelligence, that he is seldom from the house of a most homely shepherd, a man, they say, that from very nothing, and beyond the imagination of his neighbours, is grown into an unspeakable estate.
I have heard, sir, of such a man, who hath a daughter of most rare note. The report of her is extended more than can be thought to begin from such a cottage.
That's likewise part of my intelligence. But I fear the angle that plucks our son thither. Thou shalt accompany us to the place where we will, not appearing what we are, have some question with the shepherd, from whose simplicity I think it not uneasy to get the cause of my son's resort thither. Prithee, be my present partner in this business, and lay aside the thoughts of Sicilia.
I willingly obey your command.
My best Camillo. We must disguise ourselves.
When daffodils begin to peer with hay, the doxy over the dale, why then comes in the sweet of the year, for the red blood reigns in the winter pale. With hay, the sweet birds, oh how they sing, doth set my pugging tooth on edge, for a quart of ale is a dish for a king. The lark, the tirra-lirra chants with hay, with hay, the thrush and the jay are summer songs for me and my aunts while we lay tumbling in the hay. I have served Prince Florizel and in my time worn the reap pile, but now I am out of service. But shall I mourn for that, my dear? The pale moon shines by night and I wander here and there. I then do most go right if tinkers may have leave to live, and bear the sowskin budget that my accounts I well may give, and in the stocks about it.
My traffic is sheets. When the kite builds, look to lesser linen. The father named me Autolycus, who, being as I am, littered under Mercury, was likewise a snapper up of unconsidered trifles. By dye and drab I purchased this caparison, and my revenue is the silly sheet. Gallows and knock are too powerful on the highway. Beating and hanging are terrors to me. As for the life to come, I sleep out the thought of it. A prize, a prize. Let me see, every 11 weathers tods, every tod yields a pound and odd shilling. 1,500 shorn, what comes the worst? If the spring holds, the cock's mine.
I cannot do it without counters. Let me see. What am I to buy for a sheep-shearing feast? 3 pound of sugar? 5 pound of currants? Rice? What will this sister of mine do with rice? But my father hath made her mistress of the feast, and she lays it on. She hath made me 24 nosegays for the shearers, 3-man song men all, and very good ones, but they're most of the means and bases. But one Puritan amongst them, and he sings psalms torn pipes. I must have saffron to color the Wharton pies. Mace, dates, none, that's out of my note. Nutmeg 7, a race or 2 of ginger, but that I may beg. 4 pound of prunes, and as many of raisins of the sun.
Oh, that ever I was born! In the name of me! Oh, help me, pluck but off these rags, and then death. Alack, poor soul, thou hast need of more rags to lay on thee rather than have these off. Oh, sir, the loathsomeness of them offends me more than the stripes I have received, which are mighty ones, and millions. Alas, poor man, 1,000,000 of beating may come to a great matter. I am robbed, sir, and beaten, my money and apparel ta'en from me, and these detestable things put upon me. What, by a horseman or a footman? A footman, sweet sir, a footman!
Indeed, he should be a footman by the garments he has left with thee. If this be a horseman's coat, it hath seen very hot service. Lend me thy hand, I'll help thee. Come, lend me thy hand. Oh, good sir, tenderly, oh. Alas, poor soul. Oh, good sir, softly, good sir. I fear, good sir, my shoulder blade is out. How now? Canst stand? Softly, dear sir. Good sir, softly. You have done me a charitable office. Dost lack any money? I have a little money for thee. No, good sweet sir, no, I beseech you. Sir, I have a kinsman not past 3/4 of a mile hence, unto whom I was going. I shall there have money, or anything I want. Offer me no money, I pray you, that kills my heart.
What manner of fellow was he that robbed you? A fellow, sir, that I have known to go about with, to roam my dames. I knew him once a servant of the prince. I cannot tell, good sir, for which of his virtues it was, but he was certainly whipped out of the court. His vices, you would say. There's no virtue whipped out of the court. They cherish it to make it stay there, and yet it will no more but abide. Vices, I would say, sir. I know this man well. He hath been since an ape-bearer, then a process server, a bailiff, then he compassed a motion at the prodigal son, and married a tinker's wife within a mile where my land and living lies, and, having flown over many knavish professions, he settled only in rogue. Some call him Autolycus.
Out upon him, prig, for my life. Prig, he haunts wakes, fairs, and bear baitings.
Very true, sir. He, that's the rogue that put me into this apparel.
Not a more cowardly rogue in all Bohemia. If you would look big and spit at him, he'd have run away.
I must confess to you, sir, I am no fighter. I am false of heart that way, and he knew I warrant him that.
Well, how do you now?
Sweet sir, much better than I was. I can stand and I can walk. And I will even take my leave of you and haste softly towards my kinsman's.
Shall I bring thee on the way?
No, good face, sir. No, sweet sir.
Then fare thee well. I must go buy spices for our sheep shearing. Prosper you, sweet sir.
Your purse is not hot enough to purchase your spice. I will go with you at your sheep shearing too, if I make not this cheat bring out another and the shearers prove sheep. Let me be enrolled and my name put in the book of virtue. Jog on the footpath way, and merrily hand the style. A merry heart goes all the day. You're sad. Tires in a mile. Ah.
These your unusual weeds to each part of you do give a life. No shepherdess, but Flora peering in April's front. This, your sheep shearing, is as a meeting of the petty gods, and you, the queen aunt.
Sir, my gracious lord, to chide at your extremes it not becomes me. Oh, pardon that I name them. Your high self, the gracious mark of the land, you have obscured with a swain's wearing. And me, poor lonely maid, most goddess-like pranked up, but that our feasts in every mess have folly, and the feeders digest it with a custom. I should blush to see you so attired. Sworn, I think, to show myself a glass.
I bless the time when my good falcon made her flight across thy father's ground.
Now Jove afford you cause. To me the difference forges dread. Your greatness have not been used to fear. Even now I tremble to think your father by some accident should pass this way as you did. Oh, the fates! How would he look to see his work so noble vilely bound up? What would he say? Or how should I, in these my borrowed flaunts, behold the sternness of his presence?
Apprehend nothing but jollity. Well, the gods themselves, humbling their deities to love, have taken the shapes of beasts upon them. Jupiter became a bull and bellowed. The green Neptune a ram and bleated. And the fire-robed god, golden Apollo, a poor humble swain, as I seem now. Their transformations were never for a piece of beauty rarer, nor in a way so chaste. since my desires run not before mine honor, for my lusts burn hotter than my faith.
Oh, but sir, your resolution cannot hold when 'tis opposed, as it must be by the power of the king. One of these two must be necessities, which then will speak, that you must change this purpose, or I my life. Thou dearest Perdita, with these forced thoughts I prithee darken not the mirth of the feast, or I'll be thine, my fair, or not my father's. For I cannot be mine own, nor anything to any, if I be not thine. To this I am most constant, though destiny say no. Be merry, gentle, strangle such thoughts as these with anything that you behold the while. Your guests are coming. Lift up your countenance, as it were that day of celebration of that nuptial which we two have sworn shall come. Oh, Lady Fortune, stand you auspicious.
See, your guests approach. Address yourself to entertain them sprightly, and let's be red with mirth. Fie, daughter. When my old wife lived, upon this day she was both pantler, butler, cook, both dame and servant, welcomed all, served all, would sing her song and dance her turn, now here at the upper end of the table, now in the middle, on his shoulder and his, her face afire with labor. And the things she took to quench it, she would to each one sip. You are retired, as if you were a feasted one, not the hostess of the meeting. Pray you, bid these unknown friends 'tis welcome, for it is a way to make us better friends, more known. Quench your blushes, and present yourself as that which you are, mistress of the feast. Come on, and bid us welcome to your sheep shearing, as your good flock shall prosper.
Sir, welcome. It is my father's will that I should take on me the hostessship of the day. You are welcome, sir. Give me those flowers there, Dorcas. Reverend sirs, for you, there's rosemary and rue. These keep seeming in savor all winter long. Grace and remembrance be to you both, and welcome to our shearing.
Shepherdess, a fair one are you. Well, you fit our ages with flowers of winter.
Sir, the year growing ancient, not yet on summer's death, nor on the birth of trembling winter, the fairest flowers of the season are our carnations and streaked gillivores, which some call nature's bastards. Of that kind our rustic garden's barren, and I care not to get slips of them.
Wherefore, gentle maiden, do you neglect them? For I have heard it said there is an art which in their piedness shares with great creating nature. Say there be, yet nature is made better by no mean, but nature makes that mean. So, over that art which you say adds to nature, is an art that nature makes. You see, sweet maid, we marry a gentler scion to the wildest stock, and make conceive a bark of baser kind by bud of nobler race. This is an art which does mend nature, change it rather, but the art itself is nature. So it is. Then make your garden rich in gillivores, and do not call them bastards.
I'll not put
the devil in earth to set one slip of them. No more than were I painted. I would wish this youth should say 'twere well, and only therefore desire to breed by me. Here's flowers for you, hot lavender, mints, savory marjoram, the marigold that goes to bed with the sun and with him rises weeping. These are flowers of middle summer, and I think they are given to men of middle age. You're very welcome. I should leave grazing were I of your flock, and only live by gazing. Oh, alas, you'd be so lean, the blasts of January would blow you through and through. Now, my fairest friend, I would I had some flowers of the spring that might become your time of day, and yours, that wear upon your virgin branches, yet your maiden head's growing.
Ugh, Prosperina! For the flowers now that frighted thou lett'st fall from this wagon, daffodils that come before the swallow dares and take the winds of March with beauty, violets dim but sweeter than the lids of Juno's eyes or Cytherea's breath, pale primroses that die unmarried ere they can behold bright Phoebus in his strength, a malady most incident to maids, bold oxlips, and the crown imperial, lilies of all kinds, the flower de luce being one. These I lack to make you garlands of, and my sweet friend to strew him o'er and o'er. What, like a course? No, like a bank, for love to lie and play on. Not like a course, or if, not to be buried, but quick and in mine arms.
Come, take your flowers. Methinks I prayers I have seen them doing Winston pastoral. Sure, this world of mine has changed my disposition. What you do still better is what is done. When you speak, sweet, I'd have you do it ever. When you sing, I'll have you buy and sell so. So give alms and pray so, and for the ordering of your affairs, sing them too. You do dance. I wish you a wave of the sea, that you might ever do nothing but that. Move still so, and own no other function. Each your doing so singular in each particular. Crown what you are doing in the present deed, and all your acts are clean. Oh, Dorothy, your praises are too large.
But that your youth and the true blood which peepeth fairly thought, do plainly give you out an unstained shepherd. With wisdom I fear, my Doricles, you wooed me the false way.
I think you have as little skill to fear as I have purpose to put you to it. But come, our dance, I pray your hand, my Perida, so turtles pair that never means apart.
I'll swear for him.
This is the prettiest low-born lass that ever ran on the green sward. Nothing she does or seems but smacks of something greater than herself. Too noble for this place.
He tells her something that makes her blood look out. Good sooth, she is the queen of curds and cream.
Come on! Strike up!
Mopsa must be your mistress. Marry Garlic to mend her kissing with.
Now in good time.
Not a word, not a word! We stand upon our manners! Come! Strike up!
Pray, good shepherd, what fair swain is this which dances with your daughter?
They call him Doricles, and boasts himself to have a worthy feeding. But I have it upon his own report, and I believe it.
He looks like Sooth. He says he loves my daughter. I think so too, for never gaze the moon upon the water as he'll stand and read as 'twere my daughter's eyes. And to be plain, I think there is not half a kiss to choose who loves another best. She dances featly.
So she does anything. Though I report it that should be silent. If young Doricles do light upon her, she shall bring him that which he not dreams of.
Oh, master, if you did but hear the peddler at the door, you would never dance after a tabor and pipe. No, the bagpipe could not move you. He sings several tunes faster than you'll tell money. He utters them as if he'd eaten ballads, and all men's ears grew to his tunes.
Could never come better. He shall come in. I love a ballad, but even too well, if it be doleful matter merrily set down, or a very pleasant thing indeed, and sung lamentably.
He hath songs for man or woman of all sizes. No milliner can so easily fit his customers with gloves.
He has the prettiest love songs for maids, so without bawdry, which is strange, with such delicate burthens as dildos and fadings. Jump her and thump her, and where some stretch-mouthed rascal would, as it were, mean mischief, and break a foul gap into the matter, he makes the maid to answer, "Whoop, do me no harm, good man," puts him off, slights him with, "Whoop, do me no harm, good man." This is a brave fellow. Believe me, thou talkest of an admirable, conceited fellow. Has he any unbraided wares? He hath ribbons of in the colors of the rainbow. Points more than all the lawyers of the Bohemia could learnedly handle, though they come to him by the gross. Inkles, caddises, cambrics, lawns, why, he sings them over as they were gods or goddesses. You would think a smock were a she-angel. He so chanced to the slave hand in the work of the square. Well, prithee bring him in and let him approach singing. Forewarn him that he is to use no scurrilous words in his tunes.
You have of these peddlers that have more in them than you'd think, sister.
I, good brother, or go about to think.
Lawn as white as driven snow, cypress black as e'er was crow, gloves as sweet as damask roses, masks for faces and for noses, bugle bracelet, necklace amber, perfume for my lady's chamber. Come buy of me, come buy, come buy, come buy of me, your lasses cry. Come buy of me, come buy, come buy, come buy of me, come buy.
If I were not in love with Mopsa, thou shouldst take no money of me. But, being enthralled as I am, it will also be the bondage of certain ribbons and gloves.
I was promised them against the feast, but they come not too late now. He hath promised you more than that, or there be liars. He hath paid you all he promised you. Maybe he has paid you more, which will shame you to give him again.
Is there no manners left among maids? Will they wear their plackets where they should bear their faces? Is there not milking time when you're going to bed, or Kilnholm to whistle off these secrets? But you must be tittle-tattling before all our guests. 'Tis well they are whispering. Clam your tongues and not a word more.
I have done. Come, you promised me a tawdry lace and a sweet pair of gloves.
Have I not told thee how I was cozened by the way and lost all my money?
Indeed, sir, there be cozeners abroad, and therefore it behooves men to be wary.
Fear not thou, man, thou shalt lose nothing here.
I hope so, sir, for I have about me many parcels of charge.
What hath here ballad?
Pray now, buy some. I love a ballad in print life, for then we are sure they are true.
Here's one from a very doleful tune. How a usurer's wife was brought a bed of 20 money bags at a burthen, and how she longed to eat adders' heads and toads carbonadoed.
Is it true, think you?
Very true, and but a month old.
Blessing for marrying a usurer.
Here's the midwife's name to it, one Mistress Tailporter, and 5 or 6 honest wives that were present. Why should I carry lies abroad?
Pray you now, buy it.
Come on, lay it by, and let's just small ballads. We'll buy the other things anon.
That was perfect!
Ah, here's another ballad of a fish that appeared upon the coast on Wednesday, the 40 of April, 40,000 fathom above water, and sung this ballad against the hard hearts of maids. It was thought she was a woman, and was turned into a cold fish, for she would not exchange flesh with one that loved her. The ballad is very pitiful, and as true. Is true too, think you? Yes, 5 justices' hands at it, and witnesses more than my pack will hold. Lay it by to another. This is a merry ballad, but a very pretty one. Let's have some merry ones. Why, this is a passing merry one, and goes to the tune of 2 maids wooing a man. There's scarce a maid westward, but she sings it. 'Tis in request, I can tell you.
We can both sing it if that will bear a part. Thou shalt hear. 'Tis in 3 parts. We had the tune on it a month ago. I can bear my part, you must know 'tis my occupation. Have at it with you.
Get you hence, for I must go where it fits not you to know.
Whither? Oh, whither? Whither? It becomes thy oath full well, thou to me thy secrets tell. Me too, let me go thither. Or thou goest to the orange or mill, if to either thou dost dill. Neither. Thou hast sworn my love to be, thou hast sworn in more to me than whither good. Say whither.
We'll have this song out anon by ourselves. My father and the gentlemen are in sad talk, and will not trouble them. Come, bring them back after me. Winches, I bought for you both. Peddler, let's have the first choice. Follow me, girls.
And you shall pay well for 'em.
Will you buy any tape or lace for your cape, my dainty duck, my dearest all? Any silk, any thread, any toys for your head, of the newest and finest wear of. Come to the peddler, money's a meddler that doth utter all men's wear of.
Master, there is 3 carters, 3 shepherds, 3 neatherds, 3 swineherds that have made themselves all men of hair. They call themselves saltiers, and they have a dance which the wenches say is a gallimaufry of gambles, because they are not in't, but they themselves are of the mind, if it be not too rough for some that know little but bowling, it will please plentifully.
Away! Will none on't. Here has been too much homely foolery already. I know, sir, we weary you.
You weary those that refresh us. Pray, let's see these 4 threes of herdsmen. 1 3 of them, by their own report, sir, hath danced before the king, and not the worst of the 3, but jumps 12 foot and a half by the squire.
Leave your prating. Since these good men are pleased, let them come in, but quickly now.
Why, they stay at the door, sir.
Oh, Father, you'll know more of that hereafter. Is it not too far gone? It's time to part them. He's simple and knows much. How now, fair shepherd? Your heart is full of something that does take your mind from feasting.
Sooth, when I was young and had wanted love as you do, I was wont to load my she with knacks. I would have ransacked the peddler's silken treasury and have poured it to her acceptance. You have let him go, and nothing more to do with him. If your last interpretation should abuse and call us your lack of love or bounty, you were strated for a reply, at least if you make a care of happy holding her.
Old sir, I know, she prizes not such trifles as these are.
The gifts she looks from me are packed and locked up in my heart, which I have given already, but not delivered. Oh, hear me breathe my life before this ancient sir who, it should seem, hath sometime loved. I take thy hand, this hand, as soft as dove's down and as white as it, or Ethiopian's tooth, or the fan snow that's bolted by the northern blast twice over.
What follows this? How prettily the young swain seems to wash. The hand was fair before. I have put you out, but to your protestation let me hear what you profess.
Do, and be witness to it.
And this my neighbour too?
And he, and more than he, and men, the earth, the heavens, and all.
That were I crowned the most imperial monarch, thereof most worthy, were I the fairest youth that ever made eye swerve, had force and knowledge more than was ever man's, I would not prize them without her love. For her employ them all, commend them, and condemn them to her service, or to their own perdition. Fairly offered. This shows a sound affection. But, my daughter, say you the like to him? I cannot speak so well, nothing so well, no, nor mean better. By the pattern of mine own thoughts I cut out the purity of his. Take hands a bargain, and friends unknown, you shall bear witness to it. I give my daughter to him, and will make her portion equal his.
Oh, that must be in the virtue of your daughter. One being dead, I shall have more than you can dream of yet, but enough then for your wonder. But come on, contract us for your witnesses.
Come your hand, and daughter yours.
Soft, sway, a while beseech you. Have you a father?
I have, but what of him?
Knows he of this?
He neither does, nor shall.
Methinks a father is at the nuptial of his son a guest that best becomes the table.
Pray you once more.
Is not your father grown incapable of reasonable affairs? See not stupid with age and altering rules. Can he speak? Hear no man from man. His own mistake. Lies he not bedridden? Again, there's nothing but what he did in the childish.
No, good sir. He has his health and ampler strength indeed than most have of his age. By my white beard, you offer him, if this be so, a wrong something unfilial. Reason my son should choose himself a wife, but as good reason the father, all whose joy is nothing else but fair posterity, should hold some counsel in such a business. I yield all this, but for some other reasons, my grave sir, which 'tis not fit you know, I not acquaint my father of this business. Let him know it. He shall not. Prithee! Let him. No, he must not. Oh, let him, my son. He shall not need to grieve at knowing of thy choice. Come, come. He must not. Mark our contract.
Mark your divorce, young sir. Whom son I dare not call. Thou art too base to be acknowledged. thou a scepter's heir, that thus affects a sheep-hook. Thou, old traitor, I am sorry that by hanging thee I can but shorten thy life 1 week. And thou, fresh piece of excellent witchcraft, who of force must know the royal fool thou copest with,
Oh, my heart!
I'll have thy beauty scratched with briars, and made more homely than thy state. For thee, fond boy, if I may ever know thou dost but sigh that thou no more shall see this knack, as never I mean thou shalt, we'll bar thee from succession, not hold thee of our blood, no, not our kin, far than Deucalion off. Mark thou my words, follow us to court. Thou churl, for this time, though full of our displeasure, yet we free thee from the blow of it.
And you, enchantment, worthy enough a herdsman, yea, him too that makes himself, but for thou honour therein unworthy thee. If ever henceforth thou these rural latches to his entrance open, or hoop his body with thy embraces, I will devise a death as cruel for thee as thou art tender to it. Even here undone, I was not much afeard, for once or twice I was about to speak and tell him plainly, the selfsame sun that shines upon his court hides not his visage from our cottage, but looks on alike. Will it please you, sir, be gone? I told you what would come of this. Beseech you, of your own state take care. This dream of mine, being now awake, I'll queen it no farther, but milk my ewes and weep.
Why, how now, father? Speak ere thou diest. I cannot speak, nor think, nor dare to know that which I know. Oh, sir, you have undone a man of 83 that thought to fill his grave in quiet, yea, to die upon the bed my father died, to lie close by his honest bones. But now some hangman must put on my shroud and lay me where no priest shovels in dust. O cursed wretch, thou knewest this was the prince, and wouldst not venture to mingle faith with him. Undone! Undone! If I might die within the hour, I have lived to die when I desire.
Why look you so upon me? I am but sorry, not afeard, delayed, but nothing altered. What I was, I am, more straining on for plucking back, not following my leash willingly. Gracious my lord, you know your father's temper. At this time he will allow no speech, which I do guess you do not purpose to him, and as hardly will he endure your sight as yet, I fear. Then, till the fury of his highness settle, come not before him. I not purpose it. I think Camillo? Even he, my lord. How often have I told you 'twould be thus? How often said my dignity would last but till 'twere known?
It cannot fail but by the violation of my faith. And then let nature crush the sides of the earth together and mar the seeds within. Lift up thy looks. For my succession wipe me, father. I am heir to my affection.
Be advised.
I am. And by my fancy, if my reason will thereto be obedient, I have reason. If not, my senses, better pleased with madness, do bid it welcome.
This is desperate, sir.
So call it. But it does fulfill my vow. I needs must think it honesty. Camillo, not for Bohemia. nor the pomp that maybe thereat gleaned for all the sun sees, or the close earth wombs, or the profound sea hides in unknown fathoms, will I break my oath. To this, my fair beloved.
As you have ever been my father's honored friend, when he shall miss me, as in faith I mean not to see him any more, cast your good counsels upon his passion. Let myself and fortune tug for the time to come. This you may know, and so deliver. I am put to sea with her whom here I cannot hold on shore, and most opportune to our need, I have a vessel, rides fast by, but not prepared for this design. What course I mean to hold shall nothing benefit your knowledge, nor concern me, the reporting.
Oh, my lord, I would your spirit were easier for advice, or stronger for your need.
Hark, Perdita, I'll hear you by and by.
He's irremovable, resolved for flight. Now were I happy, if his going I could frame to serve my turn, save him from danger, do him love and honor, purchase the sight again of dear Cecilia, and that unhappy king, my master, whom I so much thirst to see. Now, good Camillo, I am so fraught with curious business that I leave out ceremony. Sir, I think you have heard of my poor services and the love that I have borne your father. Very nobly have you deserved. It is my father's music to speak your deeds, not little of his care to have them recompensed as thought on. Well, my lord, if you may please to think I love the king, and through him what is nearest to him, which is your gracious self, embrace but my direction.
If your more ponderous and settled project may suffer alteration, on mine honour I'll point you where you shall have such receiving as shall become your highness, where you may enjoy your mistress, from whom I see there's no disjunction to be made, but by, as heavens forfend, your ruin, marry her, and with my best endeavours in your absence, your discontenting father strive to qualify, and bring him up to liking.
How, Camillo, may this almost a miracle be done? That I may call thee something more than man, and after that trust to thee.
Have you thought on a place whereto you'll go?
Not any yet, but as the unthought-on accident is guilty to what we wildly do, so we profess ourselves to be the slaves of chance, and flies of every wind that blows.
Then list to me. This follows. If you will not change your purpose but undergo this flight, make for Sicilia, and there present yourself and your fair princess, for so I see she must be for Leontes. She shall be habited as it becomes the partner of your bed. Methinks I seen Leontes opening his free arms and weeping his welcomes forth, ask thee the son forgiveness as 'twere the father's person, kisses the hands of your fresh princess, or divides him twixt his unkindness and his kindness, the one he chides to hell, and bids the other grow faster than thought or time.
Worthy Camillo, what colour for my visitation shall I hold up before him?
Sent by the king your father to greet him, and to give him comfort, sir, the manner of your bearing towards him, with what you, as from your father, shall deliver things known betwixt us three, I'll write you down. The which shall point you forth at every sitting what you must say, that he shall not perceive, but that you have your father's bosom there, and speak his very heart. I'm bound to you. There is some sap in this. A cause more promising than the wild dedication of yourselves to unpathed waters and dreamed shores, most certain to miseries enough, no hope to help you, but as you shake off one, to take another.
Nothing so certain as your anchors, who do their best office if they can but stay you where you'll be loath to be. Besides, you know,
Prosperity's the very bond of love, whose fresh complexion and whose heart together affliction alters. One of these is true. I think affliction may subdue the cheek, but not take in the mind. Yea, say you so? There shall not at your father's house these 7 years be born another such. My good Camillo, she is as forward of her breeding as she is i' the rear our birth. I cannot say 'tis pity she lacks instructions, for she seems a mistress to most that teach.
Your pardon, sir, for this I'll blush my thanks. My prettiest Perdita. But all the thorns we stand upon, Camillo, preserver of my father, now of me, medicine of our house, how shall we do? We are not furnished like Bohemia's son, nor shall appear in Sicilia. My lord, fear none of this. I think you know my fortunes do all lie there. It shall be so my care to have you royally appointed, as if the scene you play were mine. For instance, that you may know you shall not want. One word? Ha ha! What a fool honesty is! And trust his sworn brother, a very simple gentleman. I have sold all my trumpery. Not a counterfeit stone, not a ribbon, glass, pomander, brooch, table book, ballad, knife, tape, glove, shoe tie, bracelet, horn ring, to keep my pack from fasting.
They throng who should buy first, as if my trinkets had been hallowed and brought a benediction to the buyer. By which means, I saw whose purse was best in picture. And what I saw, to my good use, I remembered. My clown, who wants but something to be a reasonable man, grew so in love with the wench's song that he would not stir his petticoats till he had both tune and words, which so drew the rest of the herd to me that all their other senses stuck in ears. You might have pinched a placket, it was senseless. 'Twas nothing to geld a codpiece of a purse. I could have filed keys off that hung in chains. No hearing, no feeling but my sir's song, and admiring the nothing of it. So that, in this time of lethargy, I picked and cut most of their festival purses.
And had not the old man come in, with a hubbub against his daughter and the king's son, and scared my chops from the chaff, I had not left a purse alive in the whole army. Nay, but my letters, by this means being there so soon as you arrive, shall clear that doubt. And those that you procure from King Leontes shall satisfy your father. Happy be you! All that you speak shows fair. Who have we here? We'll make an instrument of this. Omit no thing may give us aid. Oh, if they have overheard me now, why, hanging. How now, good fellow? Why shakest thou so? Fear not, man. Here's no harm intended to thee. I am a poor fellow, sir.
Why be so still? Here's nobody will steal that from thee. Yet for the outside of thy poverty we must make an exchange. Therefore discase thee instantly. Thou must think there is necessity in it, and change garments with this gentleman. Though the pennyworth on his side be the worst, yet hold thee there's some boot. I am a poor fellow, sir. I know ye well enough. Nay, prithee, dispatch. The gentleman is half flayed already. Are you in earnest, sir? I smell the trick on it. Indeed, I have had earnest with it, but I cannot in conscience take it. Unbuckle! Unbuckle!
Fortunate mistress, let my prophecy come home to ye. You must retire yourself into some covert. Take your sweetheart's hat, and pluck it o'er your brows. Muffle your face, dismantle you, and as you can, dislike in the truth of your own seeming, that you may, for I do fear eyes over, to shipboard, get undescried. I see the place so lies that I must bear a part. No remedy. Have you done there? Should I now meet my father, he would not call me son. Nay, you shall have no hat. Come, lady, come. Farewell, my friend. Adieu, sir. Oh, Perdita, what have we twain forgot? Pray you, a word.
What I do next shall be to tell the king of this escape, and whither they are bound, wherein is my hope I shall prevail to force him after, in whose company I shall review Cecilia, for whose sight I have a woman's longing.
Fortune speeds us. Thus we set on, Camilo, to the seaside.
Oh, the swifter the better! I understand the business. I hear it. To have an open ear, a quick eye, and a nimble hand is necessary. For a cut purse, a good nose is requisite also to smell out work for the other senses. I sense this time that the unjust man doth thrive. What an exchange this has been without boot! What a boot is here with this exchange?
Sure the gods do this year connive at us, and we may do anything extemper. The prince himself is about a piece of iniquity, stealing away from his fathers with his clog at his heels. If I thought it were a piece of honesty to acquaint the king withal, I would not do it. I hold it the more knavery to conceal it, and therein am I constant to my profession. Aside, here is more matter for a hot brain. Every lane's end, every shop, church, session, hanging, yields a careful man work.
See, what a man you are now! There is no other way but to tell the king she's a changeling and none of your flesh and blood. Nay, but hear me! Go to then.
Show those things you found about her, those secret things, all but what she has with her. This being done, let the law go whistle, I warrant you. I will tell the king all, every word, yea, and his son's pranks too, who I may say is no honest man. Neither to his father nor to me, to go about to make me the king's brother-in-law. Indeed, brother-in-law was the farthest off you could have been to him, and then your blood had been the dearer, by which I know how much an ounce. Very wisely, puppies. Well, let us to the king. There is in that this Fardel will make him scratch his beard. I know not what impediment this complaint may be to the flight of my master. Pray heartily he be at the palace. Though I am not naturally honest, I am so sometimes by chance. Let me pocket up my peddler's excrement.
How now, rustics? Whither are you bound?
To the palace, and it like your worship.
Your affairs there. What? With whom? The condition of that Fardel, the place of your dwelling, your names, your ages. Of what having, breeding, and anything that is fitting to be known, discover. We are but plain fellows, sir. A lie. You are rough and hairy. Let me have no lying. It becomes none but tradesmen, and they often give us soldiers the lie. But we pay them for it with stamped coin, not stabbing steel. Therefore do not give us the lie. Your worship had like to have given us none, if you had not taken yourself to the manor. Are you a courtier, and like you, sir? Whether it like me or no, I am a courtier.
Seest thou not the air of the court in these unfoldings? Hath not my gait in it the measure of the court? Receives not thy nose court odor from me? Reflect I not on thy baseness court contempt? Thinkest thou, for that I insinuate, or toes from thee thy business, I am therefore no courtier? I am courtier, cap a pay, and one that will either push on or pluck back thy business there, whereupon I command thee to open thy affair.
My business, sir, is to the king.
What advocate hast thou to him?
I know not, ain't like you. Advocate's the court word for pheasant. Say you have none. None, sir, I have no pheasant, cock nor hen.
How blessed are we that are not simple men. Yet nature might have made me as these are, therefore I will not disdain.
This cannot be but a great courtier. His garments are rich, but he wears them not handsomely.
He seems to be the more noble in being fantastical. A great man, I'll warrant. I know by the picking on his teeth. That furtle there. What's in the furtle? Wherefore that box? Sir, there lies such secrets in this Fardland box, which none must know but the king, and which he shall know within this hour, if I might come to the speech of him. Age, thou hast lost thy labour. Why, sir? The king is not at the palace. He is gone aboard a new ship to purge melancholy and air himself. For if thou beest capable of things serious, thou must know the king is full of grief. So 'tis said, sir, about his son, that should have married a shepherd's daughter. If that shepherd be not in hand fast, let him fly. The curses he shall have, the tortures he shall feel, will break the back of man, the heart of monster.
Think you so, sir? Not he alone shall suffer what wit can make heavy and vengeance bitter, but those that are germane to him, though removed 50 times, shall all come under the hangman, which, though it be great pity, yet it is necessary. An old sheep-whistling rogue, a ram-tender, to offer to have his daughter come into grace. Some say he shall be stoned, but that death is too soft for him, say I. Draw our throne into a sheepcote, all deaths are too few, the sharpest too easy. Has the old man e'er a son, sir, do you hear, and like you, sir? He has a son, who shall be flayed alive, then anointed over with honey, set on the head of a wasp's nest, then stand till he be 3/4 in a dram dead, then recovered again with aquavitae, or some other hot infusion. Then, raw as he is, and in the hottest day prognostication proclaims, shall he be set against a brick wall, the sun looking with a southern eye upon him, where he is to behold him with flies blown to death. But what talk we of these traitorly rascals, whose miseries are to be smiled at their offences being so capital? Tell me, for you seem to be honest plain men, what you have to the king? Being something gently considered, I'll bring you where he is aboard, tender your persons to his presence, whisper him in your behalfs, and, if it be in man, besides the king to effect your suits. Here is man shall do it. He seems to be of great authority. Close with him, give him gold, and though authority be a stubborn bear, yet he is oft led by the nose with gold. Show the inside of your purse to the outside of his hand, and no more ado. Remember, stoned and flayed alive.
And please you, sir, to undertake the business for us. Here is that gold I have. I'll make it as much more, and leave this young man in pawn till I bring it you. After I have done what I promised. Aye, sir. Well, give me the moiety. Are you a party in this business? In some sort, sir. But though my case be a pitiful one, I hope I shall not be flayed out of it. Oh, that's the case of the shepherd's son. Hang him, he'll be made an example. Comfort! Good comfort! We must to the king and show our strange sights. He must know 'tis none of your daughter, nor my sister. we are gone else. Sir, I will give you as much as this old man does when the business is performed, and remain, as he says, your pawn till it be brought.
I will trust you. Walk before toward the seaside. Go on the right hand. I will but look upon the hedge and follow you.
We are blessed in this man, as I may say, even blessed. Let's before as he bids us. He was provided to do us good.
If I had a mind to be honest, I see fortune would not suffer me. She drops booties in my mouth. I am courted now with a double occasion, gold and a means to do the prince my master good, which who knows how they may turn back to my advancement. I will bring these 2 moles, these blind ones, aboard him, if he think it fit to shore them again, and that the complaint they have to the king concerns him nothing. Let him call me rogue for being so far officious, for I am proof against that title, and what shame else belongs to it. To him I will present them. There may be matter in it.
Oh yeah, Shakespeare time, y'all. Sir, you have done enough, and have performed a saint-like sorrow. No fault could you make which you have not redeemed. Indeed, paid down, more penitence than done trespass. At the last, do as the heavens have done. Forget your evil. With them forgive yourself. Whilst I remember her and her virtues, I cannot forget my blemishes in them, and so still think of the wrong I did myself, which was so much that airless it hath made my kingdom and destroyed the sweetest companion that e'er a man bred his hopes out of. True, too true, my lord, if one by one you wedded all the world, or from the all that are took something good, to make a perfect woman, she you killed would be unparalleled. I think so. Killed! She I killed! I did so!
But thou strikest me sorely to say I did. It is as bitter upon thy tongue as in my thought. Now, good now, say so but seldom.
Not at all, good lady. You might have spoken 1,000 things that would have done the time more benefit and graced your kindness better.
You're one of those would have him wed again.
If you would not, you pity not the state, nor the remembrance of his most sovereign name. Consider little what dangers by his highness fail of issue may drop upon his kingdom and devour in certain lookers on. What were more holy than to rejoice the former queen as well? What holier than for royalty's repair, for present comfort, and for future good, to bless the bed of majesty again with a sweet fellow to it?
There is none worthy, respecting her that's gone. Besides, the gods will have fulfilled their secret purposes. For has not the divine Apollo said, is't not the tenor of his oracle, that King Leontes shall not have an heir till his lost child be found? Which, that it shall, is all as monstrous to our human reason as my antagonist to break his grave and come again to me, who on my life did perish with the infant. 'Tis your counsel, my lord, should to the heavens be contrary, oppose against their wills. Care not for issue, the crown will find an heir. Great Alexander left his to the worthiest, so his successor was like to be the best.
Good Paulina, who hast the memory of Hermione, I know in honor that ever I had squared me to thy counsel. Then even now I might have looked upon my queen's full eyes, have taken treasure from her lips, and left them more rich for what they yielded. Thou speakest truth. No more such wives, therefore no wife, one worse, and better used would make her sainted spirit again possess her corpse, and on this stage, where we are offenders now, appear so vexed, and begin, why to me? Had she such power, she had just cause. She had, and would incense me to murder her I married. I should so.
Were I the ghost that walked, I'll bid you mark her eye, and tell me from what dull part in it you chose her. Then I'll shriek that even your ears should rift to hear me, and the words that followed should be, remember mine. Stars, stars, and all eyes, else dead coals. Fear thou no wife, I'll have no wife, Paulina. Will you swear never to marry, but by my free leave? Never, Paulina, so be blessed my spirit. Then, good my lord, bear witness to his oath. You tempt him overmuch. Unless another, as like Hermione, as is her picture, affront his eyes. Good madam, I have done. Yet if my lord will marry, if you will, sir, no remedy, but you will give me the office to choose you a queen.
She shall not be so young as was your former, but she shall be such as walked your first queen's ghost. It should take joy to see her in your arms. My true Paulina, we shall not marry till thou bidst us. That shall be when your first queen's again in breath. Never till then. One that gives out himself Prince Florizel, son of Polixenes, with his princess, she the fairest I have yet beheld, desires access to your high presence. What with him? He comes not like to his father's greatness. His approach, so out of circumstance and sudden, tells us 'tis not a visitation framed, but forced by need and accident. What train?
But few knows but me.
His princess, say you, with him?
Aye, the most peerless piece of earth, I think, that e'er the sun shone bright on.
Oh, Hermione, as every present time doth boast itself above a better gone, so must thy grave give way to what's seen now.
Sir, you yourself have said and writ so.
But your writing now is colder than that theme. She had not been, nor was not to be, equalled. Thus your verse flowed with her beauty once. 'Tis shrewdly ebbed to say you have seen better.
Pardon, madame, the one I've almost forgot.
Your pardon. The other wenches obtained your eye will have your tongue too. This is a creature, would she begin a sect, would quench the zeal of all professors else, like proselytes of who she but bid follow. Oh.
How? Not women? Women will love her, that she is a woman worth more than any man. Men, that she is the rarest of all women. Go, Cleomenes, yourself, assisted with your honored friends. Bring them to our embracement. Still, 'tis strange he should thus steal upon us. Had our prince, jewel of children, seen this hour, he had paired well with this lord. There was not full a month between their births. Prithee, no more. Cease. Thou know'st he dies to me again when talked of. Sure, when I shall see this gentleman, thy speeches will bring me to consider that which may unfurnish me of reason. They are come.
Your mother was most true to wedlock, Prince, for she did print your royal father off deceiving you, were I but 21. Your father's image is so hit in you, his very air, that I should call you brother, as I did him, and speak of something wildly by performed before us. Most dearly welcome. And your fair princess, goddess, oh, alas, I, a lost couple that twixt heaven and earth, might thus have stood begetting wonder as you, gracious couple. And then I lost all my own folly of your brave father, who, though bearing misery, I desire my life once more to look upon him.
By his command have I touched Cecilia, and from him give you all greetings that a king at friend can send his brother.
And but infirmity, which waits upon the worn times, hath something seized his wished ability. He had himself the lands and waters twixt your throne and his, measured to look upon you, whom he loves. He bade me say so, more than all the sceptres and those that bear them living. Oh, my brother, good gentleman, the wrongs I have done thee stir afresh within me, and these thy offices so rarely kind are as interpreters of my behindhand slackness. Welcome hither, as is the spring to the earth. And hath he, too, exposed this paragon to the fearful usage, at least ungentle, of the dreadful Neptune, to greet a man not worth her pains, much less the adventure of her person? Good my lord, she came from Libya, where the warlike Smallus, that noble honoured lord, is feared and loved.
Most royal sir, from thence, from him whose daughter his tears proclaimed his parting with her. Thence, prosperous, seldom friendly, we have crossed to execute the charge my father gave me for visiting your highness. My best train I have from your Sicilian shores dismissed, who for Bohemia bend, to signify not only my success in Libya, sir, but my arrival and my wife's in safety here where we are.
The blessed gods purge all infection from our air while you do climate here. You have a holy father, a graceful gentleman, against whose person, so sacred as it is, I have done in sin, for which the heavens, taking angry note, have left me issueless and your father blessed, as he from heaven merits it with you, worthy his goodness.
What might I have been? Might I a son and daughter now have looked on, such goodly things as you?
Most noble sir, that which I shall report will bear no credit, were not the proof so nigh. Please you, great sir, Bohemia greets you from himself by me, desires you to attach his son, who has, his dignity and duty both cast off, fled from his father, from his hopes, and with a shepherd's daughter.
Where's Bohemia? Speak.
Here, in your city. I now came from him. I speak amazedly, and it becomes my marvel and my message. To your court, whilst he was hastening, in the chase it seems, of this fair couple, meets he on the way the father of this seeming lady, and her brother, having both their country quitted with this young prince.
Camillo has betrayed me, whose honor and his honesty till now endured all weathers.
Lay it so to his charge. He's with the king, your father.
Who? Camillo? Camillo, sir, I spoke with him, who now has these poor men in question. Never saw I wretches so quake. They kneel, they kiss the earth, forswear themselves as often as they speak. Bohemia stops his ears, and threatens them with divers deaths in death.
Oh, my poor father, the heaven set spies upon us will not have our contract celebrated.
You're married?
We are not, sir, nor are we like to be. The stars I see will kiss the valleys first, the odds for high and lows alike.
Lord, is this the daughter of a king? She is, when once she is my wife. That once, I see by your good father's speed, will come on very slowly. I am sorry, most sorry, you have broken from his liking, where you were tied in duty, and as sorry your choice is not so rich in worth as beauty, that you might well enjoy her.
Dear, look up. Though fortune, visible an enemy, should chase us with my father, power no jot hath she to change our loves. Beseech you, sir, remember since you owed no more to time than I do now, with thought of such affections step forth mine advocate. At your request my father will grant precious things as trifles. Would he do so, I'll beg your precious mistress, which he counts but a trifle. Sir, my liege, your eye hath too much youth in't. Not a month 'fore your queen died, she was more worth such gazes than what you look on now. I thought of her even in these looks I made. But your petition is not yet answered. I will to your father. Your honor not o'erthrown by your desires, I am friend to both them and you. Upon which errand I now go toward him. Therefore follow me, and mark what way I make. Come, good my lord.
Beseech you, sir, were you present at this relation? I was, at the opening of the Fardell, heard the old shepherd deliver the manner how he found it, whereupon, after a little amazedness, we were all commanded out of the chamber. Only this methought I heard the shepherd say, he found the child. I would most gladly know the issue of it. I make a broken delivery of the business, but the changes I perceived in the king and Camilla were very notes of admiration. They seemed almost with staring on one another to tear the cases of their eyes. There was speech in their dumbness, language in their very gesture. They looked as they had heard of a world ransomed, or one destroyed. A notable passion of wonder appeared in them, but the wisest beholder, that knew no more but seeing, could not say if the importance were joy or sorrow. But in the extremity of the one, it must needs be.
Here comes a gentleman that haply knows more. The news, Rogero! Nothing but bonfires. The oracle is fulfilled. The king's daughter is found. Such a deal of wonder is broken out within this hour that ballad makers cannot be able to express it. Here comes the Lady Paulina's steward. He can deliver you more. How goes it now, sir? This news, which is called true, is so like an old tale that the verity of it is in strong suspicion. Has the king found his heir?
Most true. If ever truth were pregnant by circumstance, that which you hear you'll swear you see. There is such unity in the proofs.
The mantle of Queen Hermione's, her jewel about the neck of it. The letters of Antigonus found with it, which they know to be his character. The majesty of the creature in resemblance of the mother. The affection of nobleness, which nature shows above her breeding, and many other evidences, proclaim her with all certainty to be the king's daughter. Did you see the meeting of the two kings? No, then you have lost a sight which was to be seen, cannot be spoken of. There might you have beheld one joy crown another, so and in such a manner that it seemed sorrow wept to take leave of them, for their joy waded in tears. There was casting up of eyes, holding up of hands, with countenance of such distraction that they were known by garment, not by favor.
Our king, being ready to leap out of himself for joy of his found daughter, as if that joy were now become a loss, cries, "Oh, thy mother, thy mother!" Then asks Bohemia forgiveness, then embraces his son-in-law, then again worries he his daughter with clipping her. Now he thanks the old shepherd, which stands by like a weather-bitten conduit of many kings' reigns. I never heard of such another encounter, which lames report to follow it, and undoes description to do it. What, pray you, became of Antigonus, that carried hence the child? Like an old tale still, which will have matter to rehearse, though credit be asleep and not an open ear. He was torn to pieces with a bear. This avouches the shepherd's son, who has not only his innocence, which seems much to justify him, but a handkerchief and rings of his that Paulina knows.
What became of his bark and his followers? Wrecked the same instant of their master's death, and in the view of the shepherd, so that all the instruments which aided to expose the child were even then lost when it was found. But oh, the noble combat that twixt joy and sorrow was fought in Paulina. She had one eye declined for the loss of her husband, another elevated that the oracle was fulfilled. She lifted the princess from the earth, and so locks her in embracing, as if she would pin her to her heart, that she might no more be in danger of losing. The dignity of this act was worth the audience of kings and princes, for by such was it acted. One of the prettiest touches of all, and that which angled from mine eyes.
caught the water, though not the fish, was when at the relation of the queen's death, with the manner how she came to it so bravely, confessed and lamented by the king, how attentiveness wounded his daughter, till from one sign of dolor to another she did with an, alas, I would fain say, bleed tears. For I am sure my heart wept blood. Who was most marble there changed color, some swooned, all sorrowed. If all the world could have seen it, the woe had been universal.
Are they returned to the court?
No, the princess, hearing of her mother's statue, which is in keeping with Paulina, a piece many years in the doing and now newly performed by that rare Italian master.
Giulio Romano, who, had he himself eternity and could put breath into his work, would beguile nature of her custom so perfectly he is her ape. He so near to Hermione hath done Hermione that they say one would speak to her and stand in hope of answer. Thither with all greediness of affection are they gone, and there they intend to sup. I thought she had some great matter there in hand, for she hath privately twice or thrice a day, ever since the death of Hermione, visited that removed house. Shall we thither and with our company piece the rejoicing?
Who would be thence that has the benefit of access? Every wink of an eye some new grace will be born. Our absence makes us unthrifty to our knowledge. Let's along.
Now, had I not the dash of my former life in me, would preferment drop on my head. I brought the old man and his son aboard the Prince, told him I heard them talk of a fardel and I know not what. But he, at that time, overfond of the shepherd's daughter, so he then took her to be, who began to be much seasick, and himself little better, extremity of weather continuing. This mystery remained undiscovered. But 'tis all one to me. For had I been the finder out of this secret, it would not have relished among my other discredits. Here come those I have done good to against my will, and already appearing in the blossoms of their fortune.
Come, boy, I am past mo children, but thy sons and daughters will be all gentlemen born.
You are well met, sir. You denied to fight with me this other day because I was no gentleman born. See you these clothes? Say you see them not, and think me still no gentleman born? Give me the lie, do, and try whether I am not now a gentleman born. No, you are now, sir, a gentleman born. Aye, and have been so any time these 4 hours. And so have I, boy. Yes, so you have. I was a gentleman born before my father. For the king's son took me by the hand and called me brother. And then the 2 kings called my father brother. And then the prince, my brother, and the princess, my sister, called my father father. And so we wept, and there was the first gentleman-like tears that ever we shed.
We may live, son, to shed many more. Aye, or else 'twere hard luck, being in so preposterous a state as we are. I humbly beseech you, sir, to pardon me all the faults I have committed to your worship, and to give me your good report to the prince, my master. Prithee, son, do, for we must be gentle. Now we are gentlemen. Thou wilt amend thy life. Aye, and it, like your good worship. Give me thy hand. I will swear to the prince, thou art as honest a true fellow as any is in all Bohemia. Oh, you can say it, but not swear it. Not swear it? Now I am a gentleman. Let Bors and Franklin say it. I'll swear it.
If it be false, son.
If it be ne'er so false, a true gentleman may swear it in the behalf of his friend. And I'll swear to the prince, thou art a tall fellow of thy hands, and that thou wilt not be drunk. But I know thou art no tall fellow of thy hands, and that thou will be drunk. But I'll swear it, and I would thou wouldst be a tall fellow of thy hands.
I will prove, sir, to my power.
I, by any means, prove a tall fellow. If I do not wonder how thou darest venture to be drunk, not being a tall fellow, trust me not. Hark! The kings and the princes, our kindred, are going to see the queen's picture. Come, follow us, we'll be thy good masters.
O grave and good Paulina, the great comfort that I have had of thee. What, sovereign sir, I did not well, I meant well. All my services you have paid home, but that you have vouchsafed, with your crowned brother, and these your contracted heirs of your kingdom, my poor house, to visit. It is a surplus of your grace, which never my life may last to answer. Oh, Paulina, we honor you with trouble, but we came to see the statue of our queen. Your gallery have we passed through, not without much content and many singularities, but we saw not that which my daughter came to look upon, the statue of her mother. Ah, as she lived peerless, so her dead likeness, I do well believe, excels whatever yet you looked upon, or hand of man hath done.
Therefore I keep it lonely apart. But here it is. Prepare to see the life as lively mocked as ever, still sleep mocked death. Behold and say, "'Tis well." I like your silence. It the more shows off your wonder. But yet speak. First you, my liege.
Indeed, thou art Hermione, or rather thou art she in thy not chiding, for she was as tender as infancy and grace. But yet, Paulina, Hermione was not so much wrinkled, nothing so aged as this seems.
Not by much. So much the more our carver's excellence, which lets go by some 16 years and makes her as she lived now.
As now she might have done, so much to my good comfort as it is now piercing to my soul.
Oh, thus she stood, even with such life of majesty, warm life, as now it coldly stands when first I wooed her. I am ashamed. Does not the stone rebuke me for being more stone than it? O royal peace, there's magic in thy majesty, which has my evils conjured to remembrance, and from thy admiring daughter took the spirits, standing like stone with thee. And give me leave, and do not say to superstition that I kneel and then implore her blessing. Lady, dear queen, that ended when I but began, give me that hand of yours to kiss. Oh, patience! That statue is but newly fixed, and colours not dry. My lord, your sorrow was too sore laid on, which 16 winters cannot blow away. So many summers dry, scarce any joy did ever live so long. No sorrow but killed itself much sooner.
Dear my brother, let him that was the cause of this have power to take off so much grief from you, as he will peace up in himself. Indeed, my lord, if I had thought the sight of my poor image would thus have wrought you, for the stone is mine, I'd not have showed it. Do not draw the curtain. No longer shall you gaze on it, lest your fancy may think anon it moves. Let be. Let be. Would I were dead. But that, methinks, already. What was he that did make it? See, my lord, would you not deem it breathed, and that those veins did verily bear blood? Masterly done. The very life seems warm upon her lip. The fixture of her eye has motion in't, as we are mocked with art. I'll draw the curtain. My lord's almost as so far transported that he'll think anon it lives.
Oh, sweet Paulina, make me to think so 20 years together. No settled senses of the world can match the pleasure of that madness. I'm sorry, sir, I have thus far stirred you, but I could afflict you farther. Do, Paulina, for this affliction has a taste as sweet as any cordial comfort. Still, methinks there is an air comes from her. What fine chisel could ever yet cut breath? Let no man mock me, for I will kiss her. Good my lord, forbear. The ruddiness upon her lip is wet. You'll mar it if you kiss it. Stain your own with oily painting. Shall I draw the curtain? No, not these 20 years. So long could I stand by her, looker on. Either forbear, quit presently the chapel, or resolve you for more amazement. If you can behold it, I'll make the statue move indeed. Descend, and take you by the hand.
But then you'll think, which I protest against, that I am assisted by wicked powers.
What you can make her do, I am content to look on. What to speak, I am content to hear. For 'tis as easy to make her speak as to move.
It is required you do awake your faith. Then all stand still. On those that think it is unlawful business I am about, let them depart.
Proceed. No foot shall stir.
Music, awake her, strike. 'Tis time. Descend, be stone no more. Approach, strike all that look upon and marvel. Come, I'll fill your grave up. Stir, nay, come away. Bequeath to death your numbness, for from him dear life redeems you. You perceive, she stirs.
Start not. Her action shall be holy, as you hear my spell is lawful. Do not shun her until you see her die again, for then you kill her double. Nay, present your hand. When she was young you wooed her. Now in age is she become the suitor? Oh, she is warm. If this be magic, let it be an art lawful as eating. She embraces him. She hangs about his neck. If she pertain to life, let her speak too. Aye, and make this manifest where she has lived, or how stolen from the dead. That she is living, were it but told you, should be hooted at like an old tale. But it appears she lives, though yet she speak not. Mark, a little while.
Please you to interpose, fair madam. Kneel, and pray your mother's blessing. Turn, good lady, our Perdita is found. You gods, look down, and from your sacred vials pour your graces upon my daughter's head. Tell me, mine own, where hast thou been preserved? Where lived? How found thy father's court? For thou shalt hear that I, knowing by Paulina that the oracle gave hope that thou wast in being, have preserved myself to see the issue. There's time enough for that, lest they desire upon this push to trouble your joys with like relation. Go together, you precious winners all, your exultation partake to everyone. I, an old turtle, will wing me to some withered bough, and there my mate, that's never to be found again, lament till I am lost.
Oh, peace, Paulina! Thou shouldst a husband take by my consent, as I by thine a wife. This is a match, and made betweens by vows. Thou hast found mine, but how is to be questioned, for I saw her, as I thought dead, and have in vain said many a prayer upon her grave. I'll not seek far, for him, I partly know his mind, to find thee an honourable husband. Come, Camillo, and take her by the hand, whose worth and honesty is richly noted and justified by us, a pair of kings. Let's from this place. What? Look upon my brother. Pardon your looks, that ere I put between your holy looks my ill suspicion. This is your son-in-law, and son unto the king, who, heaven's directing, is troth-plight to your daughter. Good Paulina, lead us from hence, where we may leisurely each one demand an answer to his part performed in this wide gap of time since first we were dissevered. Hastily, lead away.